Hey,
What's
Brett.
going on? What's going on, buddy?
Oh, just on my way home.
How are you?
Yeah.
I got you. Hey, hey, I was watching a video you did the other day. I think you were talking about David and where they coming
You
up.
need to be a little
But
bit more specific on that one, buddy.
yeah, I know, right? Yeah, yeah. I think it was the one about them talking about the $5 a mile thing.
Oh boy.
And you were saying where did that number? I think you said where did that number come from or something like that.
Okay.
Do you know where they got the number?
Oh, I know it's a woozy, it's a doozy. It doesn't exist. It's just he pulled numbers out of thin air. It's I don't know where it would come from. I know the
Well,
bottom line of where that $5 would come from, that $1 would come from, and honestly, I'm not ready to deal with all that as far as what's coming out of my bank account to pay for that.
I got you. All right, so
Those were numbers that
so
those were
the
numbers that he created utilizing his technique from inflation.
on inflation.
That's how he came up with those numbers.
Okay. All right.
He
So
went back to 1980 and did I want to say like a rough estimate calculation on what the numbers from 1980 should look like today.
right. All right. So well, and it changes very fast. And like over the last month, it's changed a lot, right? So we are we in agreement that it costs like $2.25 to run a truck?
No,
Well, you know
that
what,
all
Brett?
that all changes with the driver and the owner operator. That all changes.
Right.
Do you own
Well,
the truck? Are you leasing the truck? What's your truck payment? Are you
they're,
regional,
they're all
long
close.
haul,
They're all
local?
okay. So give me a range then.
I would
Oh,
say
hold
between
on, hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
Brett, can I ask you a question without you getting upset or irritated? 'Cause
Yeah,
I
yeah,
really
yeah,
want to
yeah.
know something.
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
So you reference inflation all the time, and I got to thinking about that, and so I've got to ask: if you're going to sit there and base numbers off of inflation while everything going up,
Uh-huh.
when the numbers go down, can your paycheck go down? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I mean see this trucking is like nothing else in this country, right? We're not retail. We're not that, okay? So what we have to do is and I've told y'all, and I don't know if y'all have heard it, but I've told y'all with my fuel used to cost me $16,000 a year. My truck payment was $12,000 a year when I started 30 years ago. If I take them same variables and bring them up now, my fuel is now 67 to 76,000, and my truck payments are 40. Now, by the time it's all said and done, if I run 3,000 miles back then, I make the exact same number that I make now. Take home. Does that make sense?
Oh no, I understand where you're at. I've always understood where you were at.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong on that. I've understood every time.
Well, they find money
I've
for
just
the
always
fuel
had-
increase.
I've just
They
always
find-
had questions, and you
Okay.
every time I go to ask a question,
I
you
didn't
start
know who
getting
you were.
irate, and yeah,
I didn't know who you were.
it's
I didn't see
Matt,
you. Or
Matt
I
can
didn't.
tell you. Matt can tell you. I've got questions up the ass for days.
Right.
That's
see-
what I do.
Right.
I think we
So.
all do.
So I look at it
But-
like this, right? So when I leased on, see, I was already covered. Swift's formula back in the mid to late '90s, where they were getting about $2 a mile back then, 2.25, right? And that way they had to pay me going and coming $1.60 out of there. Now, if we got some freight closer by, great. I still got my number, but I got paid every mile. So their revenue was about 20% profit. Okay.
So okay,
So
if
now, if we take that same 20% revenue number, and now the rates are $5 and $6 for Swift. Okay, if you take 20%, that's $1 for them now. That should mean I should be getting between $4 and $4.50 as a lease operator to that same company.
well,
And they
okay,
kept the same percentage, and they get their same ratio in the equation. And if I get $4.20 a mile or $4 a mile, I'm twice as much as a company driver like I was when I did it with Swift back then, because I made $40,000 with them as a company driver, and when I became leased my own truck onto them in '97, I made 128, and after expenses and maintenance and everything, I brought home 80,000. I made 128.
okay. Now let me ask you this,
Yeah.
because I understand what you're talking about. I fully understand where you're at.
Okay.
If the company you work for
Mm-hmm.
started getting paid the way that you want, where do you think that money's going to come from?
What do you mean? Where's that money going to come from?
It's going to come from the consumer.
Okay. So let me ask you this: if I'm making the same take-home pay now, at 90,000 to 120,000, somewhere in that range, depending, were things cheaper back then in '97 than they are now?
Yeah.
Okay, so if they're more expensive now, and I haven't had a pay increase, then it's like the percentage. Okay, so all right, let me do it this way. Say a car was
We know
16.
exactly what you're talking. We know exactly.
You know what I'm talking about? Okay.
Brent.
So it's the percentage.
Here's the issue. This is what the Federation sees that
Yeah.
other people are not looking at.
Uh-huh.
Right now, the money. Everybody wants more money in trucking. The problem is, it's not the shipper that's going to pay it. It's not the trucking company that's going to pay it. It's not the receiver. It's not the manufacturer.
The money's already there. That's what I'm trying to say. The money's already there.
Hold on. But yes, it is. It's in their pocket. It's in the shippers. It's in the receivers. It's in the manufacturer's pocket. It's in their pocket.
Right.
What happens? Hold on. What happens is when the trucking industry wants more money, what happens is the manufacturers sit there and go, okay, you know what? We're not paying it. The shippers and receivers aren't going to pay it. The trucking company's not going to pay it. So who do we go after to get the money to give them more money? Well, what happens is the consumer gets nailed to the wall.
Right. They're getting right, and that's my point.
Which is
okay.
Which is you and me. So we end up getting paid more, but we end up paying more. So
No.
Actually see
We're not getting paid more. That's the problem.
Well,
I'm making the same. I'm getting paid gross. My gross number is twice as much.
Okay,
Right, my gross
let me
number
see
is
if I
twice
can
as much
explain
as my
this in a
net.
different avenue. Let me see if I can
what I'm
explain
saying-
this in a different avenue.
Go ahead.
You've got a contract on your cell phone, correct?
Yeah.
Have you ever paid attention to how it goes up $1 here, $1 there over time?
Right.
Do you know what I call that? I call that the CEO's mistress wants a new yacht,
Right.
because he's not going to come off the money for it. So he's going to make you pay for it right along with everybody else that's got a contract with it.
Right.
And he's going to take that $1 a month and it's going to buy her new yacht.
I got you. Right. Okay. So here's the thing.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing with what we're doing.
Right. So if their product
If
was
we
selling
get paid
for,
more, then the cost of eggs are going to go up, which means the more money we're making, it's just going to buy that carton of eggs.
okay, and here's so here's the thing. If their product 30 years ago was $10 and today it's $50, right? It's 5x.
Right, and I understand we didn't get a raise for that.
We should have got 5x our rate that we were getting back then. Our rate back then was 80 cents. 5x our rate today, it would be $4. And everything stays the same.
That's on the manufacturer, the CEOs, the COOs.
Right, and that's why they
all
set
on
up this
them.
whole thing.
And that's where a lot of people aren't getting it.
Right.
everybody wants to go after the government and say,
No.
well, the only way the government's going to fix it is if they go after those CEOs, and they're not
Right.
going to go after those CEOs because those CEOs are lining pockets.
Look, here's my thing. I don't want no more money. I'll take the money I make right now. Just let me pay what my 1997 prices when I
Yeah,
go to
you'll
the
never get
store.
that.
Okay,
You'll
never
well,
get
it again.
there's a happy. We got to fix something. You can't go up 5x on your product and not increase, because your cost to transport back then was probably 8%. At one time it was 15%, and now it's down to 1%. So you're saving money on your transportation costs. So why are you charging the consumer a bunch of money that you don't need to?
Brett, let me ask you something.
Yep.
Are you going out there and trying to do anything with this, or do you only come into the lives and
No,
say
no,
stuff about
no.
it?
I'm working on some. Actually, I'm trying to get rid of all trucking companies. All owner operators will lease to a company in their own city. They will run out from that.
Oh
the
no,
shipper.
no! You're killing all small fleets. Then
Huh?
you'd be killing all small fleets. All of your
No,
one
no,
and two
no,
truck
no. All
fleets.
that small fleet lives in a city, right? They have people to ship from in their own city, right?
Right, but I've got a buddy, and what you were saying, he owns his own truck, and by
Right.
what you said, he would have to lease that truck on with somebody else.
No, he would be his own company. He would go work for a direct shipper from right there in his own city. Okay.
So are
He-
you
he
wanting to
would
get rid
paid-
of brokers?
Well, they don't. If they want to go in the office and work at the shipper, they can do that. But when they,
yeah.
But are you trying to get rid of brokers?
no, I'm not trying to get rid of nobody. I'm just trying to make the system more efficient. Because when we have to sit here and drive around, see, my thing is the driver spends so much time out here wasted because there's, taking 34s and all that stuff that he's not getting compensated for. So
You want to what you want to do is make everybody local or regional and take care of it, take and remove the OTR then.
right, everybody
Yeah,
go
that's-
out from their
yeah,
city and everybody
never in
come
my
back to
life.
their city.
So
Never
how are
in
you
my
getting
life
everything
would
from
I do that.
California to New York?
If
Huh?
I may, so basically what you want, everybody having a one-way trip out, nothing coming back, right?
No, they can get stuff coming back.
How?
So how
Yeah,
are you
come
getting
back.
things from California to New
How
York?
are they gonna do that since the guy from the hometown is supposed to get the
Well,
freight out?
he can't cover all the freight from his hometown.
Okay,
There'll
so
be stuff
actually,
coming back.
so what's the purpose of it? I don't see the point.
Well, okay, there's enough money built into the load going all the way out that the driver can go all the way back empty if he needs to. Okay.
Okay, so not
I
a
mean,
really
if-
strong
So
foundation.
so basically, what you're doing is you want to turn trucking into a 9-to-5 job.
No. It is a 9 to 5 job. It is a 9-hour a day job. Over the road
About
is
six-
over the
Sir,
road is
sir,
Over-
what's-
Hold
over the
on.
road is-
Hold
sir,
on,
what's
hold
your
on, hold on.
background? Sir, what's
Hold
your
on. I
background?
want Brett to explain that it's a 9-hour a day job.
Okay,
without
sir,
ever running out of time. It's 8 3/4 hours a day.
Okay, sir, what's your background?
I know what you're talking about.
What's my background?
Yeah. Are you a trucker? Are you logistics?
I'm a second generation truck driver that's been in this industry driving for 30
doesn't
years.
really. I
He-
mean,
he's-
what you're saying doesn't
he's
really
a
that
lease
much
guy.
make that much.
He's a
sense,
lease guy.
Really? Okay.
No, I'm not. Well, I'm a lease now because of bankruptcies and stuff, because of stuff that people stealing the money and stuff. And I don't want, and I would not go out I cannot go out here and compete when everybody wants to cut each other's throat. You think I'm going to invest my money into a truck to go out here and fight with y'all? Because y'all can run for $1 if you want to
No,
and put me out of business.
there's the thing. We don't need to be fighting each other, man. We need to
That's what I'm saying.
unify
I'm
through
trying to get a
information.
number. I'm trying to get a number to where we can all work together. If we can all work for $2 a mile, why the hell we can't work for a certain number?
You know, $2 a mile ain't gonna cut it.
I know
$2 a
it's
mile
not,
doesn't
but that's
cut
what
it
we're
all.
doing. That's what we're
Okay,
doing.
let me ask you,
You
something.
can't-
Once you were an owner operator, what was your operating cost? Have you figured out your operating cost per mile?
My operating cost per mile right now is
Yeah.
is about 85 cents.
All right. You know what? He's got no idea what he's talking about. Okay, I rest my
Dude,
case.
you don't know, but you
All
don't
right.
know my numbers. You don't know my numbers. Well, actually, hold on a second.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
well, hold
They're
on,
a dollar.
hold on.
They're $1.20. I'm sorry. They're $1.20.
I want to
forget.
back up just a second.
Yeah.
Trucking, OTR trucking is if you're doing it the way that you should be doing it, is anywhere between 14 and 16 hours a day.
Okay, but
That-
you run out of
that's
time,
maintaining
right?
That's maintaining your vehicle. Well, OTR it's about the amount of time that you're on the road. It's about everything you do on the road. That
Right,
means
but if-
maintenance, that means upkeep, that means your inspections, that means all of it.
Matt, what he's talking about with that 9-hour-a-day job, because I've talked to drivers that actually explained it to me. It's eventually
Yeah, it's a
you go on
floating- where
recap.
you float your hours.
Yeah, you run on
Yeah.
recap your entire week, and you never run out of hours. There's drivers out there
The
that
only
do that.
problem with that is, I know there is, and that you know, if that's for somebody who wants to continually keep going without a break, that's not a bad idea. You just keep going. But what
Right,
you
but you're-
guys do in 7 days, but what you guys do in 7 days, I can do in 5, and I can take 2 days to rest.
But you can't run 70 hours in 5 days.
Yes, you
I
can.
Oh, most certainly I can.
Oh
See,
yeah.
and that's the problem. If you want me to explain it to you, I can.
Oh no, I'm telling
Please
you,
do.
you can. If you start at midnight, and you run
Who
until
starts at
11:30,
midnight?
hold on.
Yeah, you
hold-
can,
I do.
in a magical world. Okay.
No,
we're
there
starting
are
at midnight.
many of us that run like that.
Okay, look.
been
Even if you
oh,
start at 8 in the morning.
Hold on.
Okay,
If
start
the
at
clock
midnight.
is still
Start at
clock.
midnight. Please start at midnight on what? Sunday night, Monday morning.
Let me just hold on and let me finish, and then you can. I'll shut up and you can ask questions. You start at midnight. You have
What day?
11 hours of driving, and you know, let's say you're on a load that goes. I don't care. It's got a 20-hour run. You can literally run until 10 a.m. Take a half-hour break in the middle for whatever it is you need, fuel, whatever. I don't care. Your half-hour break. That's 10:30. You take a 10-hour break from 10:30. That puts you at 8:30 in the evening. From 8:30 to midnight, how many hours you got there?
3.5.
Add that to your 11. You just drove 14 and a half hours in a day.
I
and
understand
you
that.
can literally keep turning it over. You can
Okay.
definitely do 70 hours in 5 days as long as you keep the driver's side door closed
Okay.
and go.
Do you have a GPS? Do you have a Garmin?
No, I've got a Ramic now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
So-
we're going off track, man. We're going off track. I mean, his initial idea was, you know, the whole thing
Yeah,
about,
I
you know,
get what you're saying.
hometown drivers, you know what I mean, hold their hometown freight, and you know, I just want to know where's he going with this?
Well, I'm still trying to
but
figure out if everybody's in a hometown and running regional, how are we getting freight from California to New York?
Oh, that's easy. This is what the mega carriers want, and this is part of their plan. And he's talking about it right now. What it is you're going to pick it up in a yard in California. You're going to move it over to a yard in Nevada. 1 day run. You're going to move it to that yard, and then you're going to go home. Next guy's going to come in and pick up that load. They're going to move it over to frickin' Texas. 1 day run. Pick it up and drop it in the yard. Pick up another load. It's just
Yeah,
all
but
it
bro-
is
but-
yard
but-
to yard moving. But the
Yeah, but
problem
Matt,
with
who-
that is
Who's
the
gonna
problem with
own
that
the
is-
trailers?
Well, here's the problem. You got trailers, which we don't have enough of to pull that off. But then you're going to have increased freight rates. You think food is expensive now? Try putting 10, 15 trucks on the same load to move it from, base to base to get it to New York or Maine.
Well, not to
15
mention you're going to
different
get more
trucks on that
miles
load.
doing that on a load because it's not going to be a straight line. It's going
No,
to
you
be
can.
more
No,
zigzag.
I'm not.
at that
I'm not.
point.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying the guy that picks up in California, he can go all the way to Maine. I got no problem with that.
So then you've got the same industry we have today.
You got the same industry.
Yeah.
You're talking two different things here. You're okay with the OTR to go from California over there, but you want to localize it.
No, I'm saying the guy that goes from California to Maine, when he gets to Maine, He looks for something in that area, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, going
To
back
go
to California.
It
Yes.
doesn't work that way.
Or go to Texas. I don't care.
But you got that's what
you've got the
happens
same
today.
thing that you got now. Then it's the
All right.
same thing.
Okay, so here's my problem. Okay, here's the thing. I know what the rates are. The rates are there. The money's already been paid by the shippers. These companies, between the shipper and your company, that's where the money stops. The money they're getting, and I went to court, tried to go to court. They ripped me off just in fuel surcharge the second year, $112,000, because they started subtracting the fuel surcharge from the load that used to pay $3,000, and the fuel surcharge went to $1,000. Now they give
So
me
you-
instead of what?
You've got a problem with the middleman,
Yes.
aka broker.
No, I didn't say nothing. They were brokers. They were getting okay. When you tell me I'm getting 70% of what the shipper pays, that's all I expect, dude. I don't care where the other 30% went to. I don't care who got it. But I've got to have a certain number. But here's what I'm not going to do. When you tell me the load pays $3 and it actually paid them $4 because they took it from the shipper, they run it through their logistics side of the same trucking company that they had a logistics side, took 30% there, then they slide it over to the transportation side. Now I'm starting out at 70% of 70%. That is actually 49% is what I'm getting paid.
Well,
But you know what? But the way you're describing it, man, it seems like there's gonna have to be a nationalized rate per mile. Nobody gets more. Nobody gets less.
Right.
And what you just described,
Yep.
getting it from a broker, putting it through their logistics, sending it over that's double brokering. That's actually against
Right,
the law.
right. It's against the law. But guess what? The judge wouldn't let me in court because that was not I made them $1.3 million. They showed that I only made them $900,000. Right? That was just to the transportation side. So add 30% on top of that. That was another $270 there. My take home out of the whole thing, my part was $630,000 in 2 years.
Okay, so I've got one question for you.
Yeah.
Did you research the company before you signed your trucks onto them?
Dude,
Did you ask them, hey, listen, in my contract, does that say 30% of the total rate, or is that 30% after you put it through this? Do you have a logistics company? How is it you operate here? Because a lot of people don't ask those questions, and they get stuck in those situations. They find out a year later that that's the situation, and then they get pissed off at the world.
But dude, here's the thing. I was fine, even though they were doing that. I was okay with that part. They could have done that till the end of time, and I was still fine, right? But what happened is they got so greedy when my 50% that I'm getting, they started deducting my 20% fuel surcharge from it and giving me 30% of the load, and then giving me my fuel surcharge back. Now I'm making the same money I was making. I'm not really getting the fuel surcharge. They were taking.
Sorry to interrupt you. I mean, it's not about them getting greedy. It's the things that we stop asking. It's all about education. It's all about educating.
It's a small
all about
company.
training.
I knew them personally. I've broken bread with them. The lady that was married to the owner of the company was my old boss at ABF Freight.
It doesn't matter. It could
I know
be your
it doesn't
brother,
matter,
it could be-
right? But
it
see,
could
I'm
be-
just trying to explain to what happens to people when you don't fucking go out here and you're just trying to get a job, man. You're not worried about it. The numbers. I can see the numbers. They work. Okay, I'll go with that. You tell me the freight's $3, fuel's $2.50. I can work with that. I know the numbers based on 2,000 miles a week. That's enough for me.
When did you find out that they were stealing? How long into it did you find out that they were stealing from you?
The first year was fine. I made 287. I brought home 150 after truck and everything, which is twice as much as I was making at ABF. I'm good with that. But the next year, when we doubled our rates going to Florida, and thank you, my friend. Appreciate you.
What,
Yeah, you
what
too.
year was this that you doubled
22,
your rates going to
22.
Florida? Yeah,
Yep.
You know, we were in a pandemic with all-time high rates. Never seen
Y'all need to
before.
stop blaming the pandemic. No, here's what I'll tell you what they did. Here's where the rate increased, right? They were getting $4 for that freight before.
Let me ask you this, Brett.
Hold on a second.
This
The
is the
freight
same
was
thing.
$4.
This is the same thing every day. I've already heard what you're going to say 87,000 times this week. Okay. Let me ask you this. Have you ever, before 2020, saw the rates that we had in 2020, 21, and 22? Ever before in the trucking industry? Have you ever seen those rates?
They didn't exist.
Nope.
You're not going to see that again. Okay.
All right, so look, all I know, I go by the numbers. When fuel's 80 cents a gallon, I can run for 80 cents a mile. When fuel's,
So,
hold on a second.
Brett,
What?
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, yeah, it's hard talk. It doesn't matter. I'm going to do my thing. The trucking company's going, because the trucking, you know, those people made $12 million after expenses on 40 trucks.
Welcome
For themselves.
welcome to
But hold on.
capitalism.
Right, I know, right. But here's the thing. I don't want you stealing from me. Give me my part. And what I was going to tell you.
Did they pay you?
Look,
Did they pay you
look,
what was in your
the rates.
contract?
Hold on.
Did they pay you what was in your contract, Brett?
Yeah, no, they didn't.
Well, then
What
go
you said
after them for
yesterday-
not paying you what was in your
Yeah.
contract.
What you said yesterday is they paid you on your original contract exactly the way it was supposed to.
No, they-
you ended up getting conned into signing a new contract. This was yesterday's
It wasn't
live.
a new contract. It was a replacement contract, which it actually wasn't
New
my
contract.
replacement. Look. Here, I had one when I started with them in my name. In November of that year, I changed it over to my business name. The one they took, the one I signed in April of the next year, they put it back to the original contract. That contract was not the original contract. My contract was the second one that I signed. What they did was they took the third contract and put it back to the first contract, and they forced my fucking signature on it. But the court don't want to hear that. Okay, so
Oh, okay.
They
All right.
played you. They
En-
played
enough-
you like Bach plays the piano.
Enough with the past. You can't change the past.
no, I can't. I
It's
left, and
back
that's
there.
fine.
It's whatever. Hold on, Brett. Hold on. Do you know what it takes? What you got to make per mile today?
Well, I got to make per mile. Whatever the price of fuel is what I need to make.
That's not what I asked. Do you know what you have to have per mile today?
Operating costs, yeah. And then some.
And you realize that operating costs are more than fuel. That's
Hold on.
your-
Hold on.
Well, a month ago
hold
it was
on.
different.
Go
A
ahead.
month ago it was different
Sorry.
than it is now, right? A month ago,
Yeah.
or 2 months ago, it was 75 cents what I needed to clear 75 cents.
Okay.
I get
All
All
50
right,
50,
we'll
right?
take a month ago. We'll take a month
right.
ago. We'll take a
Okay.
month ago. So you need 75 cents. I don't know how you did that, but okay. We'll take the 75 cents.
Based on my miles.
Did you make at least $1.25 a mile?
Oh yeah.
Then you made
All right,
money.
which means you made a profit.
Yes.
Okay. The guy that had everything before you, usually a broker, they also have to make a profit.
I don't
The guy
care.
that had it
I'm
before
fine with that.
him, hold on. The guy before him, which is the shipper, they have to make a profit. All these people have to be fed. They have to make sure others are fed because they have people under them. They have businesses to run. So as long as you're making a profit, what does it matter?
Okay, so I make a profit of $97,000 a year. Same money I made 30 years ago. I said I'll just take it right now and keep my standard of living at
Brett,
what I
you know
was
how
30
you can
years
solve
ago.
this? You
Why
can
do you need
solve
to up
this
your
by
standard of
becoming.
living?
You can solve this, Brett, yourself. You can become the broker, the carrier, the agent, and the
Yeah.
trucking company, and you can make all of it.
I don't no.
Go
I'm
do
gonna
do the hard work.
I'm
Go
going
do
to the
hard work,
shippers and I'm going
Brett.
to tell them you're getting ripped off because the companies are actually charging for the driver round trip on the
No, they're not.
$5 freight. Yeah,
No,
they
they're
are.
not.
If
No,
you
they're
break it down,
not.
yes, they
Oh,
are.
wait a minute,
Who told you that?
hold on.
told
Some
you that?
contracts are like that. Some contracts are like that. With what I haul, They are
Yeah.
like that.
Yes,
I know
thank
some
you.
flatbed freight's like that.
Yes,
But
thank
there's
you.
not many van freight that are like that.
Well,
And you
ours
run
was.
a van.
Right, ours was. They
So
got
go
paid
back to that
round trip.
contract.
Then
We-
it was a
we-
dedicated. What you had was a dedicated contract.
No,
Which
no,
means
there's,
that you need.
y'all don't know what it was, but it was just general. It was just, I was bringing trash out of Florida.
Like
from
I
waste-
said, the past
Look.
is the past. You can't change it. The idea
I know I can't
today
change
is to
it.
make a profit today.
No, my idea today is to stop letting drivers getting fucked over by these people. The numbers are the same. The percentages are not the same
Who's
as they
getting
were.
screwed
This is
over?
This is what we're trying to tell you. The only people that you can go after are the CEOs, COOs of major manufacturers, and you're not going to ever,
No,
ever get
no.
anywhere
But
with
I'm going
that.
to educate the American people that their transportation costs used to be
They already know
20%.
it.
No, they don't.
Brett,
No,
Brett,
no, if the-
please,
no, listen,
please don't
listen,
try to
listen.
educate people, Brett.
Listen,
please
listen,
do not try to educate people.
If their product
we have
was
enough problem with
$10,
misinformation out here now.
Listen. If their product was $10 30 years ago, right, and their transportation cost was 10%, that was $1 that was $1, right? Now let's take it, and now it's $50 for that same product today, and now their cost of transportation is 10%, and now it's $5, right? So it went up 5x on the transportation cost, but the percentage of the cost of the good, it went down.
None of what you just said makes sense.
I know.
I'm
That's hard.
trying to
That's why
wrap
it's
my
hard
head
to-
around it.
I know.
And Brett-
Y'all don't even know where I'm coming from. I
All
know
right,
it's
guys.
hard.
Brett,
Right.
a lot of the stuff you say, I can figure out once I think about it. But that right there, that didn't
know.
make sense.
Okay, so for instance, let's say I delivered 300 tires the other day, right? Back in the day, that load paid $4,000. It was 10 cent a hundredweight. It was 40,000 pounds of tires. Okay.
Okay.
But then they went to
And
the mileage
where-
rate thing. Hold on.
How
But
far did
now-
it go?
It went like from Nashville to Birmingham. It didn't matter how far it went. It was paid on 10 cent a hundredweight. It didn't matter. It didn't matter how far it went.
Tires don't pay by weight to get hauled down the river.
It used to. Everything used to. On the
And
but
people
anyway.
figured out a way to save a couple bucks,
Yes.
and that's how they did it. What's
Right.
wrong with that? If you could figure out a way to save a couple bucks on your utility bills, are you going to do it?
Okay, they save money, so why did the price go up 1,000%?
So they can
Free.
save
Price
more
of what?
money.
So they can save more money?
Right.
No, so they can make more
It
money.
ain't any different than your home. You're going to figure out ways, like you're going to go out and buy the best light bulbs that are going to turn around and put out the highest power with the least amount of cost. And those are the ones you're going to run in your home.
Brett, when you take a package that you need to ship across the country
Yeah.
and you go shop the price between the USPS and say
Right,
FedEx and
FedEx.
UPS,
Right.
okay? If the other two are more than the other, but USPS is $5 cheaper to ship the same thing, which one
Dude,
are you
I don't
going
care
with?
what nobody hauls it for. Just run it legal, and I have not a problem.
Who's
What do you
running
mean you don't
anything
care what
illegal?
anybody hauls it for? All
Wait a minute.
you talk about
just
on here
jumped-
is how much
You just literally jumped from home base into left field. What are you talking about running legal?
Run
Are you
legal.
talking money wise, or are
No,
you talking
no,
about being
I'm
on the road hours wise?
I'm talking about your hours of service. Run
What
legal.
does hours of service have to do with the conversation that we're having right now?
Well, if you fudge your logs and all that stuff, then
How is anybody fudging their logs?
oh, because you're not logging on duty when you're sitting at the dock.
Okay, hold on. You just jumped into. You went from Yankee Stadium all the way up to frickin' Boston here.
Yeah.
You just completely did a complete subject change from one matter to another matter.
Well, it all tied in
by
together,
bringing in
right?
hours of service, and if you want to talk about hours of service, if you want to talk, what's legal to work and what's not legal to work, we can go all the way back to the beginning of time, where there was no hours of service, where you did your job and you went home to your family when your job was done.
Right, we've gotten past that, right?
Hours of service is literally micromanagement. That's all it is.
Okay, but well, tell Sean Duffy to go up there and tell the American people we're not having hours of service, and they're going to do what they want to do.
I'm not talking about Sean. I'm not talking about Sean Duffy live.
To be very clear, you do not have to be on duty while you're waiting in the dock.
Nope.
No, you don't have
Right.
to. You don't have to. But you're depleting your value of your as a person. You're depleting yourself.
No, you're not.
Why?
No, you're not. You're just.
Brett, if I back to the dock and I get in the truck and play Xbox or on my iPad or do whatever or go for a walk, I'm not on duty. I don't
Right.
have to log on duty.
Right, but see, your 70 mile an hour average getting there. Now you're going down and down and down.
Why?
You end up with a 30 mile an hour average.
You're
Why?
not averaging 70 miles an hour, Brett.
If you're
I was
in the
just saying
dock
that.
and you're in the dock and you get paid to be in the dock for all the hours in the dock, whether you're on duty, off duty, or in the sleeper, it doesn't really matter, does it?
Do what now? What'd you say?
I said, what difference does it make if you're paid to sit in the dock? It doesn't matter.
I'm trying to get it to where whatever your driver rate is, you get paid the same amount of number sitting at the dock.
I just told you I did, but it's not drive time. Why would you be charging?
It's on duty time.
Yeah, it is. I just said that. If you're sitting in
Okay,
the
well,
dock
we're
and
in
you get
agreement.
paid,
So, right, get paid. These guys don't get paid. That's what I'm saying.
that's who,
And that's
who
what I'm
doesn't
saying.
get
Not
paid?
getting paid.
Who said that? Nobody said they didn't get paid. I mean, if you're not getting paid, I guess it sounds like a business decision you need to make to change that.
A company driver or a lease out for a mega carrier is still getting 15
Yeah,
to
he's
20
gone.
hour, 15 to, yeah, of course he is. Oh, my,
That dude's
I'm telling you,
something else,
this guy is taking
for-
lessons.
for-
Oh,
He sounds worse than the roof.
For those of you that don't know, this guy has had the same song and dance now for months, and he comes on. The only thing that changes is some of his numbers and the examples, and none of it is accurate.
Well-
It's all bullshit, and he's stuck in that fairy tale land.
Like
If
some
he
of what he
actually
talks
gets-
about, I can wrap my head around and I can figure out. But there's some of it where he confuses even me, and I'm really good at being able to do a lot of that.
you really are. But can you tell me how the heck you wrapped your head around? We were playing in Yankee Field and we ended up on home base in frickin' Boston.
No, that one I couldn't.
The math isn't mathin'.
Other than he
Yesterday-
was being told that he was wrong and he didn't like it.
Yesterday, his thing was on the price of cheese and how many slices of cheese you can get in a truck and how much McDonald's pays to ship the cheese. And everything was on cheese. But then when you ask him, well, if pepper jack cheese weighs more than the American cheese, how much are they making off of it? You know,
Were
how many
you th-
slices are in the trailer? It was
Were
just
you
a
there
bunch
yet?
of BS.
Were you there during the live when I called him out and held him accountable and he just pitched a fit and started screaming, hooting, and hollering and left?
I was in
He
that
didn't like
chat.
that.
I was in that live when he was talking about the cheese yesterday. I was like, "What the fuck is this dude talking about?"
Again, the math isn't
Yeah, back
mathin'.
in 1972, a slice.
Like, if he would leave the
Now they're
past in the
charging 50
past,
cents, and
he might make a little bit more sense. But he wants to live in 1972 and bring it to today, and
Right.
you can't do that.
maybe.
Well, that's like bringing the ICC back. You
Well, I
don't bring
mean-
back you don't bring back a corrupt government organization that even our own government, as bad as they can be, looked at and said, "Oh yeah, this is you're way too much. We got to get rid of you." Your own government has to get rid of a government organization like that because they looked at it and said, "Oh yeah, it's time for you to go," it's a bad situation. You don't bring something like that back.
Right. And you can't talk any sense into him. We've tried for a long time.
I don't know. I kind of feel like I have to give him a little bit of credit because he's been on a couple of Sarah's lives, and he's been actually very astute and polite and calm. And I was like, okay, great, I can handle this guy now. There for a while, I was ready to boot him, but whatever.
Well, that's
He
because she
starts
gets
off
on his
that way.
butt. And he tells him that he tells him, or she tells him, hey, no, we're not talking about that. Stop. I already told you this morning. We're not going there today. And then he'll behave a little bit. And he may be a super nice guy, but he's just so uneducated on business and the industry. And it's like banging your head on a concrete wall.
Whoa, hold on. Brett, I'm going to tell you right now, from the conversations I've had with the top 4 in this, sorry, Mexican trucker, I haven't really talked to you, so I can't vouch for you. But the top 4 in here, plus myself, we have got some of the most open minds you'll ever come across. You just have to make enough sense for us to see your point of view. And you're more than welcome to come back up. You just got to request it.
Listen, and that's the thing. It's if you're going to stay on topic, be on topic, and bring real numbers. That's all we ask.
Okay.
Yeah.
Show us
All
where
right.
the numbers add up, where 1 and 1 equals 2, and
Okay.
2 and 2 equals 4, not 1 and 1 equals 7.
Okay.
And another
So-
thing, Brett, you got to
Yeah.
stop comparing stuff from during the pandemic to before and to today.
Well, see, the
It's
rates
never
went
happening
up.
again.
The rates went up during
1972
the.
is an apple. Today it's a banana. It's two very different things.
Okay, I know that, man, and I know we're much more efficient now. So, and like I said, if what I'm trying to say is, if I at 80 cent a mile and I made 128,000 and I brought home 80, with my numbers today, I bring home that same number 30 years later because the fuel went up about $59,000 a year. The truck payments went up about, I would say, 16,000 a year. Okay, those right there are add-ons, and that's not counting the maintenance. Has gone up probably triple what they used to charge. I used to get an oil change for $125, and now I got a clutch for $1,250. Okay, now my buddy got it. My buddy just got a clutch put in his truck. It was $10,000.
Okay, but you understand that most of the manufacturers that produce that stuff were right here in the States during those years, and most of them, if not the highest percentage now, is literally out of country. So now you've got embargo taxes, you've got everything that's being tacked onto those parts that at one time cost $200, now cost $600 or more, because we're paying for all the problem. All these companies that have left our country, we're paying for it.
And can I make another recommendation, Brett? Because,
Yeah.
you know, like I said, you have a lot to share. And I think there's not one of us here that isn't willing to listen and talk through it and just give you ideas or what we're thinking about it. But the other thing that I recommend that helps keep the calm in the conversation is you just threw out some information. And you have to remind, because I'm not going to remember if you're an owner operator, you're a company driver, you're leased on,
Yeah.
do you have your own authority, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So just remember when you make that comment, I just
Is at
ask
least
that you remind us of what capacity you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
So
And
when
I'm-
you talk about
and I'm just sorry.
when you talk about those things,
Right.
and understand our point of view is you've made the decision to be where you're at, leased on, but it doesn't sound like it's working for you.
It's working
So-
fine. I mean, I
Oh,
can
okay.
survive. I
Yeah.
can survive.
Well, honey, that's all of us. We're all just
Right,
surviving
but
now.
but what I'm saying is it's the same money 30 years later.
I don't
Okay?
believe
when
that.
when the huh?
I don't believe that.
You don't believe that?
Hold on,
all
hold
bullshit,
on,
too.
hold on,
No,
hold
my
on,
my
hold
net
on.
take home is the same number, and my gross number is twice
Okay,
as much.
but honey, there's been other things like the taxes have changed too, and we can't control that either.
The taxes are lower than they've ever been.
No, I don't agree with that
Hey,
either.
Hold on, time out, hold on. Brett, when we started this here, you said you watched my videos, right?
I watched your video about the $5.
Did you? Is that the only one you watched, or did you watch others?
No, it was just one to come across. It wasn't like I went on your
Okay.
page and sit there and watched everything. No.
So in one of my videos, I talked about my definition of good money. I want if you could tell me yours without putting a dollar amount on it, what would you be? What would you say?
What's good money?
What's
Without
good
putting-
money? What's your
without putting a
definition of
dollar
good
amount
money
on it?
without? Correct.
For this profession? For over the road?
No. Your
What is good
personal
money to
definition
you?
What's
without
good
a
money?
dollar amount.
What is good?
Well, how do you do that?
What is good money
What,
to you,
what
Brett?
is good money?
I'll give you
your
my.
lifestyle, with your
You give me
lifestyle
I will-
and the way that you
I'll
live,
give you my
what is
definition.
classified as good money?
I will give you my definition so you can see what I'm talking about.
Okay.
If you can pay all of your bills,
Yep.
you can put money in your savings,
Uh-huh.
and you still have money to put in your pocket, that's good money. Whether you're making $5 a mile or $50 a mile or an hour, if you can do those three things, that's good money. That's my
Right.
definition of good money.
Okay.
Now, what is yours?
Okay. So when I started leasing, I was making, to me, $30 an hour back then.
You just put a dollar amount.
Well, I mean, it was
That's
30
not what
bucks-
I want.
Well, I mean, I
Well,
do all
here's-
of what you're talking about.
here's
but
my
what I'm saying,
example.
I don't have to spend all of it. I'm very frugal. My car is an 03 model. Okay, my house I bought for 149,000. It was in my neighborhood. There were 300,000. I didn't pay that.
You're not
So
understanding
you're
the
putting dollar
question.
amounts on everything. You're putting dollar amounts on
Man,
everything.
I can live
How
on
much money
$10,000
per
a
year?
No.
To
I'm
you.
just trying to help you understand.
Okay,
The way that he's looking at things and the way that you are two very different things.
I'm just trying to.
how much per year, Brett, to you would you consider it good money?
Now you can put a number on that.
Okay, so I would say, and I can put a number on that.
Well,
Sure,
but
why not?
That's,
Since you
that's
can't
how
grasp
Rocky
the
just
other.
presented it. Mhm.
Okay, I would say I need 225.
$225,000 a year?
Yep.
Oh my God! For what? Holy shit!
For the
What-
7,000
what-
hours
Wow.
a year.
$1 million
For the 7,000 hours a
$1
year I spend in
What
this truck.
college? What
My
college
time is
degree
what
do
I'm
you
selling.
have that would
Dude,
draw
see,
that?
you fell into
Your
the
time
program.
is worth nothing
Look,
if you do nothing
my-
with your time.
My time is, I'm in this truck 7,000 hours a year. I can work 2,800 of those hours, right? So the other 2/3 of that time is I'm still not at my fucking house, and I want to be
Gee,
paid for my time.
Here's the
so when I
problem:
get
you
to my
don't get.
house,
If you're working a local job, you don't get paid when you're home either. But you're saying you do in a truck.
but they get paid
So what's
twice
the
as
difference?
much.
No,
They get paid.
no,
they
no,
get
no,
paid-
no. Stop. Shut up and listen to me for a second. If you're working a local job,
Damn.
you get paid your 8 hours or 10 or whatever you work a day. You don't expect to get paid while you're home. Why
No.
should you expect to get paid while you're sleeping?
Well,
you
I
are
used to-
you are an entitled ass. Is the problem?
No. When you break it down, I used to make $15
You're
an
an
hour
entitled
for every
ass.
hour
That's
I
the
was
problem,
gone.
Is you are
I
entitled.
was
you
look,
are
dude,
entitled to everything.
In 1997, I was getting $15 an hour for every hour I was gone. Right? I'm okay with that.
Let's solve this problem, Brett. Go get
No,
your own
I just
brokerage,
booted
your
them.
own carrier.
I just
go get.
booted them. I couldn't take it anymore. That's saying something.
I just said 7,000 hours. 7,000 hours a year is 134 hours a week. You break that down to days. That's 19 hours a day, every single day, for 52 weeks a year. Every single day.
What did he say? He wanted to make 225 a year.
Yeah.
Two-
Yeah.
$quarter million
That was
You're
his
not
good
gonna
money.
make that.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, are we talking 225 on your tax return, or are we talking about in your wall? I mean, that's what I'm telling you. There's so many different aspects to this. that it's hard to have a conversation, and fair on his side too. It's hard to have a conversation and wrap his head around it, because I know what the number said on my tax return that my adjusted gross income was, and that I got taxed on.
Yeah.
But that's just it. Like he couldn't grasp, like, okay, Laura, if I asked you what's your definition of good money, but you can't put a dollar amount on it.
Can't, hold on just a second, because Brett said he wants to make $225 net. Brett, I know I know you're frustrated, and I understand your frustration to a degree, but you got to be, you want us to be open-minded, you got to be a little more open-minded too. 225,000
net
so
after taxes.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. So for my company, we own 7 trucks and we're running 4 of them. And I don't do over the road. I'm regional. My guys work Monday through Friday. They average about 55 hours a week. My senior guy makes about $100,000. We pay his benefits for him only, and we contribute to his 401k. And amongst a lot of other benefits that I give to him that I am not going to name because they are across the board crazy. We have trailers here that are personal, that our drivers, I let them use them to go do their personal shit. I know that's not money in the bank, but go rent a trailer then. You know what I'm just saying? I cook for them. We do whatever. None of that matters. They get paid for holidays. We don't run on holidays either. Sick time. But my point being is, even with my husband and I being the owners of this company, and my husband is one of the drivers of 4 of those trucks, Brett, we don't make that kind of money. And we're surviving. I have no truck payments, no trailer payments. I have a house payment and a camper payment, and that's it. And if you know anything about or have heard any conversations that Sam and Matt and Cupcake chip on me about, is I have way too many personal vehicles and hobbies and way too much livestock, and I'm living very comfortably on way less than $225,000.
Well,
So your math to me is a single person with a single household is, and I don't know where you live and it's not my business. I live in a very expensive state and I'm taxed to fucking death in this state. Pardon my French, but I am. But I'm surviving very healthily. I don't even know if that's a word, but we're going to throw it out there anyway. Off of less than what you stated you need. And you're leased on. I own the whole shit show. Like, I pay everything 100% for these trucks and insurance and fuel and maintenance and everything.
Even the 225 though, it doesn't make any. It's almost near impossible. Even as a lease operator, I am a lease operator. I still have maintenance costs. I still have fuel costs, everything, insurance costs, all that. So if you add all of that over top of the net, over top of the taxes, everything, that's got to be close to what, $600,000 a year that you're going to have to make with that truck. The gross or the net 225.
Just on his end, for what he'd be paying in taxes is $340,000 roughly. We're not even talking about the expense part of it.
Yeah.
No, he said net, so make sure you guys stay on net, please.
Well,
right, but I'm just saying, the gross.
The gross would have to be between $600,000 and $750,000 a year on one truck.
Yeah, that's not realistic.
In order to gross $225,000.
Especially you're pulling a van, aren't you? Or wasn't he pulling a van?
Well, mine is a mix.
Yeah, and he's a lease purchase guy.
Oh, he's in a van. I'm sorry, Mo.
Yeah, he's in a van. He's a lease purchase guy, and I've got to say, from their website, he's in one of the better lease programs I've ever seen. I will give him that. That company that he is with is a great.
So tell me what year you guys are going to have this off the top of your head, not me. What was the height of the pandemic? What year was that?
I did 350.
Well,
20, 21.
Okay, we're going to say 01, 21.
I grossed 350.
I was a company guy and I made $85,000.
So I'm going to tell you guys again. I have 7 trucks and predominantly 4 of them run. And during the pandemic, working Monday through Friday, regional only, And this is a whole lot of shit you guys don't need to know, and I don't give a shit, but I'm going to share because I want these conversations to be beneficial.
Right.
We grossed 1.5 during the pandemic.
And that
That's
was at the
2021.
height.
That was at the very height of it. Yeah.
Exactly. And I had
Yeah.
7 trucks, predominantly running for them Monday through Friday.
So you actually did well.
I did very well, but now I can tell you, let's go back. Since I have it at my fingertips, and I see JJ in the comments, he's probably gonna, he loves
I
numbers,
sent him an
so.
invite to come up. I'd love for him to come up. I love his conversations.
So let me see if I can tell you,
JJ's a lot of fun.
hang on, I'm gonna see, I know there's a way to do it. I just gotta get my crap together. One moment, please.
Brett, I will let you come up again, but you've got to tone it down. You've got to let people talk. If you're
Hang on.
okay with that and you can do that, I'll bring you up.
So let's see if I can do, oh, here we go. Okay, so, is that right? 2021 actually wasn't our best year. 2022 was actually our best year. We're at 1.7. 2023, we went down to 1.678. 2024, I mean, we have lost money ever since 2022, but that was during the pandemic when money was great. And I'm telling you again, like the math, 225, and if that's your goal and that's what you want, amen. I love that. That's awesome. But when I'm telling realistic numbers from a small fleet owner, and 225,000 is not a number that I would even think about for myself. That to me, in my personal opinion, is being greedy, and I'm taking away from somebody else. And I have very nice trucks. In my opinion, my trucks are very nice.
There's a lot of I can agree with that.
Yes. Even if some of them are DEF operated, yes.
I would lead you to believe that they are DEF operated currently.
I thought you said that one of your W9s was newer and it had DEF still.
They all do, except for the 2 older trucks. The retired truck that we use for show boating is a 2000, so no DEF. The 2002.
Yeah, I know that one's not.
Semi-retired, it's not DEF, but everything else that we run is a DEF truck. They have not been denutted, per se.
I actually wouldn't agree with denutted. I would say you're taking the rope off of the nuts.
I
You're
know.
actually allowing it to run.
I know.
Brett, I do try to run a clean room to where we all just kind of have a conversation. We don't get irate, we don't get loud, and we don't talk all over everybody. That's why I had to sit there and put you down there the last time.
My apologies.
We run a good conversation. We try to learn off everybody. Everybody's entitled to their opinion and how they actually talk to each other.
And
But
I
when
get
you
it,
start
'cause
getting loud and all that, we kind of,
Brett, I get frustrated because I've been running this company for 28 years. I've been in the industry for longer than I want to talk about. But with me hands-on, I'm the one writing the checks. I'm the one doing all the health insurance, all the general, all the things. I know every dollar that goes out and every dime that comes in. And like, I respect that you want to make 225,000, and I think that's great. I probably would like to make that too. But in the industry, there are years that you make that, and there are years in the industry that you don't. And like I said, the height of our business was 2022 to 2023, and from 23, And I have the numbers, so like I don't. It's not an argument for me. I'm looking at it. From 23 to 24, I lost $282,000 in revenue, but I still made money, Brett. I was making more than I was spending. And then from 24 to 25, we lost even more money. And I'm calculating. I lost another $287,000 from 24 to 25. But I still was, but I was still making money. Make it make sense.
Without giving away, you know, your private business, are you starting to see a rise this year, or are you thinking that you're going to be about? Are you thinking that you're going to take another hit this year? And it's for curiosity because you're seeing
No, I have real
market in it better than I'm personally seeing.
I have real numbers. That's what I'm telling you. I use QuickBooks, which I'm not a fan of, but I use QuickBooks. And so every month I watch this every month. January, we spent more than we made. February, I made more than I spent. March, I made more money than I spent. And April, right now, we're on task to make more than we've spent. I've made more than I did last year at this point in time. So we are on an upswing.
We are, okay. So, yeah.
But, you know, but get this though, I'm on an upswing, but I'm also down on my net profit.
I got you.
And my drivers don't lose,
aspect
you know, my drivers don't lose money. I don't take money out of their pocket. They've not been demoted on pay. I had a driver call me the other day, really concerned about, hey, what does the fuel prices look like for us? And I'm like, what do you mean? And he goes, well, are we going to have to like take a demotion in pay? And I said, no, there's only been one time in 28 years that somebody's had a demotion in pay. And it was for egregious safety violations where it was the second write-up. And I said, your third is going to be really in your pocket more than this one. You'll be fired.
You got to respect a driver like that.
So our drivers do a very good job at, you know, they're supposed to be planning their routes like any driver should. They're watching where they can get the cheaper fuel. I don't run a fuel card discount program because I truly do not believe they work for the areas we run. I'm not buying fuel at Love's and Flying J and all those kind of things. I just don't. We stay out of there. We save more money doing that.
Right.
But I can tell you from when we started 28 years ago, we started out with me working full-time. I made $14.75 an hour. We had 2 kids at home. We had a house and several things that we had loans on that, you know, keeping up with the Joneses garbage, that if you can't afford to pay cash for something other than a house and maybe a vehicle, you don't freaking need it that bad. So I understand. And Brett, like I said, you know, I agree with you. I think, you know, as an owner operator, making $225,000 is great. But honestly, in the owner operator world, that is the gross that trucks are making now a year. Right. I believe.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir. Go for it. It's yours.
So when I was leased to that company in 21-22, and like I said, the first year I did 287, brought home 150. My expenses were 130 that they took out for everything, truck, fuel, everything, right? But
hey,
then,
Brett.
Yeah.
Hey, the price of cheese in 1972
Hey,
was
just
15
stop,
cents per
please.
pound.
Hey, Sarah, don't start. We already had talk and how we do things.
The
But-
problem
I'm not
is
starting-
there's too many people in our industry that don't live within their means.
Well,
They
who are
think
we to
they're an
tell who
owner
lives
operator
within
and
their
Time
they
out,
think
Brett.
they gotta have
Brett asked
all
for
the
the floor.
stuff.
Brett asked for the floor.
Yes.
All right, so when I make that company that year, 500,000 on 157,000 miles, do you know what the rate was? I think the rate was around $3.22 a mile to the truck. Does that sound like that rate's too high?
$322 to the truck, and you don't own the trailer. That's great money. My trucks don't make that
that was
kind
to
of
the
money today.
company. That was to the company. I brought home 208 a mile to me. I got 70% of the 320. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, no, mine was 216. Okay. So the next year, when, like I said, see what happened with the rates didn't get better. That was just the fuel surcharge added on, because what they did was, at where I was at, I'm just speaking of my personal experience, the rates were $4. They went and got the $1 round trip fuel surcharge going both ways, right, to cover that. And so that made the rate go from 4 to 6. And instead of giving me 70% of the $4 rate, and they giving me the fuel surcharge of $1,000 or whatever, $2, right, going down, which would have put me to 480, and they would have kept their $1.20, because we're at 6. They would have kept their same $1.20 for them profit.
So can I ask you
Yeah.
something, Brett?
Yeah.
Every time you get a settlement, do you reconcile it against your miles?
Oh yes, ma'am. Yes.
Every
But what
single
happened-
one, not
Right, but-
annually, because you can't do annually, because I just gave you an
No,
example.
no. Right. No. What?
The trucking is ebb and flow, and if you
Right.
can't,
I understand.
if you cannot survive the lows with the highs, you're not going to stay in
I,
business.
I can, ma'am. And that's okay. So every month I would look at it, and then I would look at it the second month, and then I would break it down at the third month, because I know they ebb and flow. Some weeks are good, some weeks are bad, right? But I got to the point where, with this increase in rates and stuff and fuel surcharge, I was starting to make the same money that I made the year before. And I was like, something's off. And I started questioning it, because I went from depositing $16,000 a month to $8,000 a month in my account. And I'm like, what's going on? And they said, oh, the brokers are taking the money coming back, and they're
Okay.
killing us.
Give
Okay.
me just a second here, really quick. Wait, give me just 1 second before I put my effort out. I'm going to see if you guys want me to do it. I'm going to take what my gross revenue was for my fleet of trucks, and I'm going to take the miles right out of my ELD. Now that's all miles. That's miles PCing. That's miles circling the truck stop 20 times. That's miles my drivers have gone out of route. And I'm going to tell you what my trucks averaged last year. Would you like to know that, or am I going to waste my time?
On a truck average, I'm kind of curious on that, what you made it per truck.
I don't want to get personal, but I'm actually interested in knowing what that number was.
Okay,
That's
I'm
on
gonna-
on a small fleet carrier side.
I'm gonna mute you guys, because it's gonna take me a minute. I'm gonna pull all my IFTA reports.
Okay.
It'll take me a few minutes, but I'm gonna tell you, it might blow your mind, because I don't think, if anybody, I'm just gonna give you a quick blurb. If you've ever heard me on any live where people say we need to be making $4 and $5 a mile to survive, I'm very argumentative about that, because I don't make $4 and $5 a mile, and I have a very nice fleet of paid trucks. I have 9 trailers that are paid for. My drivers are paid for very well. They have very good benefits, and I'm not making $4 a mile.
Would you have to if you had to get new trucks? I'm just asking.
No, I don't, because I can pay
No.
cash for new trucks.
Okay.
And so, Brett, the way my business is set up, like I haul any broker loads I haul go into a different account. It's not even used for operational expenses. And so it just sits there. So I call it folding money. And when I need to go buy a new truck, I don't even dick around with a bank anymore, because I don't want to fight with them. I did that a long time ago with Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo's like, well, your interest rate's going to be higher because you're a small business. And I said, no, it's not. My money's just as green as anybody else's, and I should get the same rates. But since you're going to discriminate against me, I took all my money out of the bank and I quit doing business with Wells Fargo, and I pay cash for everything now going forward.
And Brad, if you don't mind me, I just want to make a comment, because your number, the way you described your fuel surcharge, it's off.
What do you
Fuel
mean?
surcharge. Here's what I want to explain. You said you were getting 70% of $4
Of the line
a mile
haul.
for $4 a mile, right? And then you found out that they were getting basically $2 extra.
No. Let me fix it for you. It was they were getting 4, running through their logistics, telling me now we're starting at 280. I'm getting 280
Hold on.
of the
Okay,
4.
so you were getting 70% of that. Fuel
Right.
surcharge is a separate deal.
It's an add-on. Right.
You don't get a percentage of fuel
I know.
surcharge.
I know. I was
You
supposed
are
to get it all.
supposed to get all of the fuel
Right,
surcharge.
and that's what I'm saying. They took their $4 freight rate, and they put the fuel surcharge on their freight rate now. Now I'm only getting 70% of the freight rate. There's no fuel surcharge, but they kept breaking it out in my pay stub as I was getting the fuel surcharge.
Was
but
that?
I wasn't.
Can I ask if was that written in your contract that you are
No.
supposed to get all the fuel surcharge?
Yes.
It was in your contract.
It was in the first contract and my second contract, and then the third contract. When they had me sign the replacement that they lost on the second one, that's when they took the fuel surcharge off of there and then backed it up to the original contract. But they forgot that
and
we
they,
signed.
and they basically conned you into taking that third contract.
They
and
didn't con me.
removing
They
the
just
other two.
well, yeah, they conned me because they told me that this was the same contract. We just lost our copy. So, and both copies had to be signed on the same day.
And I'm
so
guessing
let me have it.
because they said it was the same contract.
Yes.
You didn't bother, and I'm
No, I
only
didn't bother
assuming-
reading it.
But you
I
didn't
got
bother
you.
reading it, and
Right.
I got you. Okay.
Right.
Okay, we're all on the same page. I
Right,
got you.
but see, but I know I'm right because they did it all wrong because they paid the judge not to let the case go to court.
And did you happen to show the judge the original first two contracts and then the third contract and say,
No,
hey,
because the second contract they confiscated when I signed the third one, but the first contract I always sign in blue ink. And here's a little lesson. And I told my lawyer this. I sign everything in blue ink so they can't make a copy. It'll come up black, and they could never produce a wet copy of the original contract. And what they did was they took the third contract and made it the first contract, and there was all copies. There was no original.
And they didn't let you keep a copy of the original second contract.
No, they said it was no good no more because it had the wrong date on it.
But you didn't.
Anytime you sign a contract, you should keep a copy, no matter what.
You never give away a hard copy.
Well,
And even if they come to you and say, "Listen, it's
I
not good
got
anymore,"
you. I got you.
should
I mean,
always keep a file. Keep it in
Right,
your file.
right. So let's go
Because
to
if
court
you
and
had
get it
that
all figured
second-
out.
Because if you had that second contract, that judge would have laughed them out of the courtroom.
See, here's the thing. They said that the second contract, they only counted the third contract as the second contract, right? Saying that's when I changed from my name to my company name. But I had pay stubs of they had already started paying my company at a different bank under my new business name back in November.
They basically made the second contract disappear.
Yeah. And my lawyer and nobody wanted to hear about the second contract.
No, because
I mean,
there's no
they
way
even
to
brought.
do it. There's
I mean,
no
they
way to
even
find
brought.
it.
Right. So they even brought in fraudulent paperwork saying to make all their numbers work, and it was very small. I had to take a picture of it and blow it up. But when I did, all right. So to make their numbers work, a load going from Tennessee to Tampa, Florida, which paid 670 miles, they said it was a paying load of 380 miles to make their numbers work. And when I caught them on that, me and my attorney had to leave the room. Their attorney said I need to talk to my clients. Then that attorney come out and got my attorney. They went into another room, and then they come back and said, okay, we're going back in, and nobody told me nothing. And when I told them I was only expecting 70% on the backhaul because there's no fuel surcharge in the backhauls, they said, there you go. You're 70%. That's all you expected. I said, that was just for that. I said, but on these loads over here, I had the paperwork that were actually at $6 a mile, and you were saying it was paying $5, and I was getting 70% of $5 plus the fuel surcharge. And then he said, well, that's still 70%. I'm like, okay, but the fuel surcharge should have been on top of the 70. Anyway, but they redacted all of that out of the paperwork when they gave it to the judge.
And you're keeping all your information
is
now,
not
right?
Mathing.
I'm
Math
ready,
isn't
I'm
adding
ready
up.
with some numbers
Rocky,
when you guys are
good
ready.
morning. How are you?
When you guys get done, I would like to demonstrate something and get some numbers from Brett, because I can actually reverse engineer all of his rates, all of it, and tell you exactly what the gross was, rate per mile, all that. But you guys go ahead right now.
Well, all I know is I made them 1.3 million, and I should have got paid out of that about 770,000. And after expenses, I should have cleared about 500,000, which was 250,000 a year. So it was there. I just couldn't get it. So.
Well, and I don't understand any of that. I'm ready for the numbers if you
Okay,
guys
go
want to
ahead.
hear.
Yeah, I want to hear your numbers because you're decent. I believe every number you tell me.
It's right here in my QuickBooks. No, I'm not giving it to you, but I have the numbers. So, again, I even went back. I did 2025 and I did 2023. Okay, so 2023 I made 1.678,337.64, and by the time I took my miles, which was 443,984 miles for the year, I made $3.78 a mile.
There you go.
On all miles.
Damn.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
2025. We made 1.171,630.39. And I ran 378,222 miles for a 309 a mile. So I'm telling you right now that every time anybody partakes in these $4 and $5 a mile, yes, they sound great. But there's two factors to it. Number one, when somebody says you have to make $4 a mile for your people to make good money, I've debunked that already.
Can I explain why it is like that though?
You're gonna give me a minute.
Did you? Okay. What did you get? See, you're round trip stuff, right? If you don't get a backhaul at that, okay. I'm just saying, if you don't get a backhaul, you're out of business.
Please let her finish. Please let her finish.
She gave you the floor. You need to give it to her.
All right, go ahead.
So Brett, you're right. That's on all miles. That's all of them. That's my driver. Hey, my wife's with me. I want to take my wife over here to Mount Rushmore. All those miles. It's every mile my trucks ran, whether it was paid or not. That's it. Yes, I am paid round trip only because I do white glove flatbed delivery. We end up in places like Taos, New Mexico. And I refuse. I'm not going to Albuquerque on a Friday afternoon to get a load and have my driver get screwed over the weekend. I'm not deadheading to Salt Lake, and I'm not deadheading to Denver to pick up a load to go 20 miles. My customers pay me round trip for a couple of reasons. One of them I just gave to you. The other one is they have a big metal box that goes on our flatbeds. That material goes in so it doesn't get damaged. Mm-hmm. But my loaded rate and my empty rate are two completely different things.
Yeah.
So, and having said that, I'm going to go back to when people say you need to make $4 a mile or $5 a mile to survive. I've not made that. Even during the pandemic, I didn't make that kind of money. And I'm surviving, and my people are paid. My trucks are in immaculate condition. I don't run retreads. I run Virgin on everything. My trailers are all paid for. I have trailers that sit around and do absolutely nothing, and I have trucks that sit around and do absolutely nothing, and I still maintain what I'm doing. Would I like $4 and $5 a mile? I probably don't, because I'm paying so much in taxes now because I'm a debt-free company that if I made $4 and $5 a mile, it would double what I'm paying IRS because I'm a successful business.
You know,
yeah, but you can offset that. You know that.
So.
All right, Sarah wanted to say something real quick.
Yeah, I was just pointing out, Brett, what you were doing, like in a controlled environment with a leash program, is not how the open market works. It's just not. Like, you get a rate from your carrier, right? And that's a solid $1 a mile or whatever it is, right? That's not how it works in the open market. We negotiate.
I understand that.
It doesn't matter. A market's a market.
My people negotiated the new contract.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is. Sarah?
No, Roger, please let me
he's a lease purchase fee.
And now it's time you listen to me.
Please let
You've
me finish. Thank you. Please let me finish. Thank you.
Okay.
Please let me finish.
Sarah,
Thank you.
Roger, give her a second.
You've said some horrible things about me for your own reasons. A market is what it is.
No, it's not, Roger. It's Roger. He gets paid per mile.
So
right?
it's still a
He gets
market.
paid you're right. He gets paid, but it's not the same market.
No, my people had to go
Well, no
negotiate their
market's the same.
contracts.
Every market's different, Sarah.
Okay, so
But why do you
what she's
continue,
doing,
Sarah,
what
why
Laura's
do you
doing, what
continue to
Laura's doing,
besmirch
Rob
me?
just- I'm gonna leave, guys. I'll be live
Good.
over on mine. I'll explain
You've got
over
a
there.
big mouth, Sarah, and you know you do.
Well, I'm not gonna put up with this. That one guy.
Oh, and I'm
not.
supposed to put up with what you say about me?
Hold on, Sarah. Don't leave yet. Roger, I'm going to tell you like I tell everybody else. We don't get loud in here. We don't argue. We discuss. If you
I'm
can't
trying to
simply
discuss.
discuss something, I've got no problem booting you.
Good. Go ahead. Do you think I need you in my life?
Oh wow!
I'm going to let
dude.
you. I'm going to
Really?
let you save yourself and exit
Yeah.
yourself.
No. Do you think I need you in my life? Do you think you
Then
are
why'd
going to
you
make
come
a
in here?
difference in my life?
You
Then
need
why'd you come
somebody.
in here?
You need Jesus.
I came in here because I wanted to say something to.
So,
I apologize for that, sir. I didn't realize who that was until he spoke.
so Brett, listen. Brett, I think you're a really good guy. I really don't have no personal problems with you. But what you're talking about and what Laura is talking about is two separate things.
Right, I get you. Look, I know it's all different. I know what she does. I know what my people do. My people over here, they just come out and said they got a 10% increase in their rates they just redid their rates, 10% raise, right? So,
And you're not going to see a raise off of that right away. It might be coming down the road.
right, it'll be July, but that's fine.
I mean, the lease programs, some of them might be good. I'm not saying they're all bad, but
This
they're
the only
If
reason
they,
that,
if they divulged a 10% increase to you, Brett, is that to you or to them?
to them.
And how much of the 10% are they passing through to you?
Oh, I will probably what I will probably get will be about 15%.
No, sir. I didn't say probably. I want to know if they're willing to
They-
blab their. Listen, please listen.
I know they're
As
getting
a
$5.
corporation, if I went to my drivers and I thought it was necessary to tell them that we got a 10% increase on our flatbed work, I also would be telling them, hey, 10% of that, you're getting 4%. I have a
Pretty
hard
much,
time.
right.
I have a
2.5%.
hard time why they would tell you that and not give you a number of congratulations, Brett. The company got 10% increase. That's based on your service and your great
No, they said they
this
were
and
going
that.
to pass it along to us.
All of it?
Not all of it, no.
How much?
But they
Then
did say they were going to pass it along. So, like I said, you're not going to see it today, but you may see it down the road in a few
Right,
months.
and I'm not expecting more than if they said 10%. I'm just going to take my base rate and add 10% to that, which will be about 25% of what they actually got.
Okay, so Brett, though, this is kind of my advice to you. You're a businessman and you're contracted with another business,
Yeah.
and these numbers should be written down. You should know what those things look like. And if they divulge to you that there was a 10% increase, I would be far-fetched to say that they said that. I'm not saying you're a liar. I'm just saying, why would they start that kind of riffraff in their company by coming and saying, guess what? We got a 10% increase, but guess what?
Because-
You're not getting any of it. That's
just
not
trying to
good
give people
business.
hope.
On your side or their side.
That's not what?
Good business. My drivers don't know when our rates increase. They see it on their paycheck and they don't look at their paychecks, so they never know they get raises. I don't go.
And
I don't go.
a
I
lot
don't
of drivers
go-
don't look at their raise. I know that.
I
That's the
don't-
problem.
No, it's not. I don't have to give them an attaboy for them doing a good job. I don't need to come to Brett and pat him on the back and go, good job, I'm giving you a raise. I just give it to him.
And they don't look at their settlements because they trust her.
Right,
And it's super easy. You know, now we're going to go in the transparency boat. I know everybody's gonna be happy about that, but here we go.
Well, no, I mean, like I said, I know the game I had to play over here. I had to buy my own fuel to make it work because there's a big. I mean, when I see a deduction on my bottom line, and they can't tell me exactly what that's for, and it's about $700 a week. That's where these guys are missing. But that's your fuel surcharge. They come back in and scoop it all back out. They
Well,
don't
if
do
they're
that to
taking
me.
money, if they're taking money out of your settlements and you're not questioning for documentation
No, I
of
did.
what
I
that
did after
is,
the first. I did the first 4 weeks. I was like, this ain't adding up because I knew my numbers before I come over here. I knew where I should be, and I was off. Like I was actually driving for 39 cents a mile, and I'm like, I'll bring this truck back right now. He goes, well, you want to pick up a load? I said, hell no. I'm not gonna make you no more money. I'll dead hit this thing before I make you another dime. And then he said something. He told me, he said, well, we can't pay you the fuel surcharge and the discount at the pump. And when he said that, I said, okay, I'll take care of my discount and we'll see how it works out.
So, okay,
And
but wait, time out, because now you're twisting things up. If you're paying for the fuel,
I wasn't the first month. I wasn't the
okay,
first
let me
month.
finish.
Okay.
If you're paying for the fuel out of your pocket, then you should not get their fuel discount.
I don't get their fuel discount.
Okay, then you should get the fuel surcharge should pass through to you no matter what,
wasn't.
because
It
the
wasn't.
fuel discount that whoever you're leased to doesn't give two shits on what the fuel surcharge is.
Okay, so
Do you
what
even
happened?
know what their fuel surcharge is right now per mile?
Well, see, I've always gone by the Department of Energy number, but they gave me a formula on how their fuel surcharge works, and for every 6 cents it goes up, we get a penny.
So did they give you
based off
standard?
of $1.24?
Okay. See, and theirs is set up different than mine. My
And that's
price,
exactly right. I don't understand why.
well, they should have given you. Good Lord, I need more. They should have gave you a matrix. Most every customer or broker or carrier with lease trucks has a matrix, and it says if the price per gallon is this to this, this is what it is. So you should have that. So you should be able
Well,
to
they
go
gave
and
me the
reconcile
formula.
your settlement. No, well, you ask them for the matrix. I guess that might be the easiest.
That-
My
that-
fuel
that's-
surcharge this week is 84 cents a mile.
See, mine's not even close to that, lady. And see, that's what I'm talking about.
But
There's so
remember-
much.
But mine is again, I told you I was going to talk about transparency with my customers, with my drivers and all of that. So my transparency is that I take my IFTA reports from the previous quarter, and if I average 4.25 miles per gallon, that's what I use to factor it my fuel surcharge. My base price per gallon, and I started fuel surcharge back in 2002 or 3. I'd have to go back and look, and please don't make me do that.
No.
The price per gallon average was based off $1.10 a gallon.
I got you.
Now, I didn't think it was fair for me to charge just the rate for Rocky Mountain region, and it wasn't fair for me to go with the national average. So I take the Rocky Mountain and the national, and I average those two out to use it for my fuel surcharge because my dedicated routes go in and out of the Rocky Mountain region and into what is classified as the national region. Now, if I run 67 miles in California, I don't break that out. That's just ridiculous. But that's part of the issue that I think, Brett, that you don't have on your chalkboard. Like, you need this whole vision board of exactly how everything is calculated out, and the formulas they use or the matrix they use and all those things for you to be settled down in your life and not be frustrated with where you're at.
I'm good. It's just when shenanigans happen behind the scene, one, I don't know why, if the government puts out the Department of Energy national average, let's just all go with that instead of no, we don't. You have a different formula than my company. My fuel surcharge is 20 cents plus less than yours. Okay. If we were all on the same page, I would be getting more, you would be getting less, because I think it was like, what, 69 cents last week?
No, mine was not 69 cents last week.
Well, I mean, that's what the national average energy was.
But okay, Brett, that's the confusion. The DOE does not give you the fuel surcharge per mile. They give you the average cost of each fuel item for the previous week. So we're always operating basically in a week behind on fuel surcharge. But what I'm saying is that when you went and leased with this company, the question should have been, hey, how is your fuel surcharge calculated?
They told me that.
Brett,
it's $1.24.
Brett.
Penny every 6 cents.
And the average price per gallon that they use to do that. I started my fuel
$1.24.
surcharge 23 or 24 years ago. And that's when it really came to light. And my average per gallon was $1.10 per gallon for diesel.
Right.
And my only advice to you, sir, is exactly this. I think if you change where you're leasing, or if you get a professional opportunity to sit down with them and say, listen, these settlements are frustrating me. I don't want to look like a jerk to you, but I really need the breakdown on what you guys are taking out and how it's calculated so that I can make sure that I understand what I got myself into.
Okay, and I'll tell you this. 2 weeks ago, I called the owner of the company. I talked to him back in November, and then he was supposed to get started on it. I told him I was having an issue because if you take my gross number, subtract all my stuff, there's money missing, right? So that was back in November. Since then, his father passed away, so I didn't bother him in January. I called him 2 weeks ago. And we talked for 30 minutes, and I said, look, there's something off, and if you could just go through and figure out what I'm seeing. And we agreed on the numbers that I was telling him, and I told him how much I was missing. And the way it falls out is every time I use their fuel card, I lose $850 a week because there's a line that they say is just the fuel, but it's not. It's the fuel and the fuel surcharge.
I'm going to guess that here's the deal, that they have a discount worked out with whoever the fuel card is, and they believe that is that belongs in their pocket because it was their negotiation process to get that discount. That's my guess.
No, they say, and they tell us that we get a discount. We get a discount at the pump, right? Say it's $5, we'll get it for $4.20 on their discount. I get to see that. That's mine. But when I use my fuel card, my mud flap, I can get it for that or less. So they don't get that. But what I'm saying is they take the fuel surcharge back out of the driver's checks. Me and another driver run the same amount of miles, right? And I brought home, by my own fuel, $800 more than him.
Then start buying your own fuel. I mean,
I have been. I have been.
Don't
Since
hate
the
the
first
player,
month.
hate the game.
No, right, and I know it's a game, but what I'm saying, the first month I was here, I brought home $4,800 using their card. The next month, they deposited in my account $14,400. After I paid my fuel, I brought home $10,000, $2,500 a week. Okay, I'm good with that. I'm not good with 12, but the only difference is I bought my own fuel. So that shows me that they were taking my fuel surcharge, like the man said.
Do you file your own IFTA?
No, I turn in my receipts. They take care of the IFTA.
So if you're purchasing fuel on your own thing, are you turning in receipts to them or not?
Yes, I just said that. I had to turn them in, and they do all the IFTA.
Okay, I'm sorry, I missed that. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm asking a question. But, so do they charge you an administration fee, and is that $700 administration fee for doing all those things?
No, they don't charge me nothing.
So they file fuel tax, and they handle license plates, and they handle all those things for free
Yes.
for you? For
Yes.
free?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, no,
I'm
they
just-
charge me on what they pay me. It comes out of that, When they're getting 5 and they give me what they give me, 50%, yeah, that's where it all ends up.
I'm telling you that I
I'd love to see one of
far-fetched-
your settlements redacted with your
I am
information.
far-fetched to believe that they are getting $5 a mile, Brett. Maybe loaded, but by the time you're done, it's not loaded. You know what I mean? It's not, it's not $5 a mile. So
Yeah,
I
it
don't-
probably breaks
I
down
think-
to $4 to $3.50 to $4, like where you're at.
I don't believe that either. Based on my numbers as a small fleet owner, I do not believe that they're getting $4 a mile. In order for them to win these contracts that most big carriers have, they really try to undercut everybody so that they win the contract, and they make their money off of folks like you that do lease purchases and the fuel purchases and all those things. They generate revenue in other streams other than the contract that they signed with the shipper.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, Cisco. By the way, I just wanted to chime in for a sec. I'm new over here. New to hauling freight, general freight and all that. I haul reefer and that now. Just bought all my own equipment. I've done cows, livestock and that for the last like 10 years. So it's been really interesting here, you guys being in here, hearing you guys talk about all these rates. And so, yeah.
Welcome.
Just want to say hi.
Welcome
My name's
to the
Levi.
chaos. When it's good, it's chaos. When it's bad, it's chaos. So you've signed up for chaos.
Yep.
The other thing that I was going to bring up, and now Cisco's in here, so this is a perfect time to bring up transparency.
Well, hold on, because I'm kind of curious. Lane Metrics down there said he can do it all backwards.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot about that. So my apologies.
Yep, no problem. Brett, what is it that you're wanting to? I heard somebody say something. I kind of come in the middle, and it was something about $225,000 a year is what you netted.
No, that's what he wants to make
net. Yeah.
Okay, that's what you want to net. Okay, we're going to take the current fuel price right now. Does your truck use DEF?
Yes, it does.
Okay. How many miles this year you figure for the year you're going to run?
I ran 157,000 my first year over here.
Okay.
I've averaged 150,000 plus the last 5 years.
Okay. Well, we'll just use 150,000.
Huh?
How many days on the road you figuring it takes you a year to do that?
It takes me 6 days a week.
Okay. So that's what? We'll call it 312.
Yep.
So while you're figuring all that out, in case anybody doesn't know, Lane Metrics has got a really sweet app for owner operators and lease guys to help you figure out your numbers.
Oh yeah. There's a lot to fill out at first, but once you save this as a baseline, then it's there. I mean, if insurance something changes, you can go back and update it later, but you only got to do it once.
Right.
What would you say you're of that 150,000 miles a year? What do you think you're doing on a percentage of empty miles? 10%?
Or yeah, 10% or less over here. Yeah.
Okay. You're averaging what per gallon with your truck on your IFTA when you file it?
8.5.
8.5. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I run slow.
All right. And do you do anything as far as paid parking, showers, things like that? What do you figure between the two there that you do?
Between the two, I use my points. So let's see. I mean, I most of the time I get my shower and I go to the customer and park there, so I don't have to start my clock, which lets me get more hours in. But let's see. I mean, showers, you figure, just say $30 a week for 3.
Okay.
Average. That's $150. What? $1,500 a year.
All righty. And then routine maintenance interval on oil changes for your truck.
Maintenance is every 60,000 miles. I just pay a 10 cent a mile maintenance fee, so I pay $15,000 a year for maintenance.
Hey, Brett, I have one quick question for you too. That's kind of outside of Lane Metrics,
Yeah.
but so when you file your taxes, you're claiming per diem for your nights out, right?
Yes. My tax liability this year is $13,700. Federal, 0 state.
So you said about 15,000 a year on your routine maintenance, you're saying?
Yep. That covers everything.
All righty. Do you do any truck washes?
Yeah, they pay for 2 a month.
Okay.
It don't cost me nothing.
Right.
It costs me $50 a month because I add on like the undercarriage and the Rain-X and the wheel shine and all that stuff. So it's like $22. So just say $50 a month, and I get 2. Yeah.
All right. Okay, I'm just going to go with pretty much the averages on all your tire wears. We'll speed this up. It may vary a little, but probably pretty close here.
I got measurements.
Your 2290, you're paying that, of course, $550 or so a year.
Mm-hmm.
How about your base plate, your IRP?
They pay all that. Well, they cost me $2,000 a year. But that all that comes out of my settlement. My truck payment and all that stuff like that, maintenance, is $1,600 a week, average. Sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. But average that, yeah.
And then your insurance is all rolled in.
It's all in that. Yep.
Okay. Let's see. Trying to figure out, break that apart. We do it by category. We'll call that probably. I would say your insurance alone is probably what, $10,000 a year.
Oh, I don't know. Shit. I can look it up. Hold on, I'll tell you.
Sorry to slow everybody down here on this live.
No, you're all right.
I just really like to help Brett out, man. I've heard him on several lives, and the money gets confusing, and he ain't sure.
Well, and actually, I'm kind of liking this because it's giving people an example of what you created.
Yeah, well,
exactly what I'm here for.
Let everybody realize everything they need to be tracking too, because Brett ain't the only one. Most guys don't know all this individual stuff.
What was this app you were talking about?
It's Lane Metrics.
Lane Metrics.
Mm-hmm.
Brett, or Justin, I'll send it to you later.
Yep, it's for owner operators and small carriers.
My insurance, liability, and bobtail is $81 a week. So you figure $4,000 a year, $4,200 a year.
All right. And let's see. Now, do you have truck payments or yours paid for?
No, it's truck payment, $950 a week.
$950 a week.
Holy cow!
I know. What's the price I got to pay for freedom?
What did you say? It's $150 a week for your truck payment?
$950.
No, yeah, $950 a week. Yeah, $3,800 a month.
52 divided by 12. That's actually pretty cheap at $4,100, depending upon what kind of truck it is.
It's a 24 Peterbilt 579 with a Cummins in it.
So see, 4,100 is that's not awful.
I know. And guess what? If I pay that for 2 years, well, actually 22 months, if I pay that number for 2 months, $950 a week, and I give them $50,000, I can walk away with this truck.
So, okay, how long? $950 a week times 52.
22 months. Oh, we go.
20. Okay, $950 times 22 plus what? $50,000?
Yep.
And does it have a Packard or a Cummins in it?
Cummins.
Do you know how much of that is actual principal and how much is interest? Are they charging you anything for interest?
Oh no, it don't break down like that. They don't expect me to pay it off. So, when I hit 400,000 miles, which will be next January, I get a brand new truck, and they give me 11,000 back for completing the lease.
Hey, I want to just make sure that you understand that kind of sounds like a hook, line, and sinker. If it's that awful there, they're just enticing you with a new truck, and I don't know if it's worth that.
Well, see, it is to me because I don't like running a truck out of warranty. So I'm good with paying the payment like that.
See, and warranties to me are a waste, but that's just my opinion. Now, Cisco will say something different about that, I know, but.
He already did.
As far as your depreciation that you're writing off on your taxes, how are you handling that?
I do a third. It's a 3-year write-off.
Okay, you know about what you're writing off a year?
I want to say. Let's see. I want to say it's depreciation is like $42,000 a year It's pretty much the whole thing.
Right. And for anybody that don't know, the reason that matters is because your principal, any principal you're paying is considered income. It's taxable. The only
Right.
thing you can write off is your interest and depreciation. So since you don't have any interest, it'd be just be the depreciation coming off of
Right.
it.
Right. I mean, yeah.
And then, of course, they handle everything. They're not charging you any kind of a factoring fee.
No.
What percentage are they getting off the top of the loads?
Oh, I'm a mileage pay, so I don't know.
Hey, Scott, he's a true lease purchase, so he has there's no principal and interest on his. He writes off the entire payment.
Okay.
That's what I was gonna say.
The carrier
That's kinda
percentage
expensive,
part,
like
so they're not
4,200
taking
bucks a
10 or
month.
20 or 30% off the top or whatever.
Of the load? Oh, I'd say
Right.
at least I'd say 50%, but that's just my.
Okay. Now, do you put a percentage back for yourself on top of the 225 you're wanting to keep, or are you looking at that as your money and your company's money?
No, well, that would be my company / me. I mean, I only pay myself $1,000 a week.
Okay.
I mean, the other 200 grand is just, there for when I had my own trucks and was responsible for maintenance and stuff and paying my 40,000. See, my tax liability used to be 3 years ago was 36,000 federal and 15,000 state.
Right. Okay.
So
Well, we'll just
yeah,
leave the escrow
yeah,
method for
yeah.
now because it's going to come out and
Okay.
wash the same. Because if you're sole proprietor LLC, you're getting taxed the same on that profit, whether
Right.
you're considering it a company percentage or
Well,
your own pocket money.
I'm S corp though.
What do you think? Miscellaneous expenses for the year, just odd and end stuff, your internet,
This-
phone.
Oh, 70. Just say 8,000.
Okay.
600 a month.
And in what state do you do
Alabama.
your state taxes? Alabama.
Yeah.
All right. They've got an odd system for their state taxes, but we
Yes, they
cover all
do.
that.
Yeah.
We got you covered. No problem. Are you single, married?
I'm married.
Okay, so you
Separated.
file married filing jointly then?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. And that is it. That's all I needed to know.
All right.
And on that, to gross to net to yourself after all taxes, and of course, this is not a crystal ball. I mean, we can't
Right.
predict, tire blowouts, your rear end go out. There's going to be odd and end expenses that's going to eat into that profit
Right.
and reduce your taxes. But
Right.
in order to net 225,000 for the
Hold
year.
on a second. Can I say
Sure.
before you? I want to take a guess at that, and I want to say I had to average $286 or $2.86 per mile.
Well, no, not really.
No, not that much.
Now we're talking about the gross revenue to your truck.
Oh
in
no, the
order to
gross revenue.
cover-
To do that, 286 a mile and 100, about 450,000 or
684,000
$684,000. Right. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So gross revenue per mile, you're looking at on your loaded miles alone. If you're doing 90% of your miles are loaded miles, and that's 150,000, your truck would have to be earning $5.07 a mile.
5.7. Okay.
And mine
Well-
don't make that, Brett, so I'm telling you.
Oh, I know. But what I'm saying is that company I was working with was getting 6, so
But how,
we were close. We were close.
I don't know how, so if you're a lease operator, I don't understand how you see what they're making, because that
Well,
doesn't.
I was on percentage back then. But then, like I said, all the numbers got changed after COVID. When the fuel surcharge, remember, it went way high, and that's when they started subtracting the fuel surcharge from my loads and then giving it back to me. That was causing me. I was losing money, and that's why I found out it was wrong. And then when I went to going through Discovery, I had to get the rates from the shippers, and the shippers sent me what they were paying, and it was $5 and $6 for stuff, but the one customer I did a lot for was $4, and they told me it was $3, and then when the fuel surcharge they added was $2, they kept all of that and just tied it into the line haul and gave me 70%. So instead of me getting 70% of the $4 to begin with, which was $2.80, plus the $2 fuel surcharge, which would have put me at $4.80 of the $6. That's the way it should have been. But what they did was they run it through their logistics company and all that stuff, and then they took 70% they took 30% off the top of the $6, so that was $1.80, which put it down to $4.20. Then I got 70% of $4.20, which put me at $3.50, and then they gave me 80 cents for the fuel surcharge, which put me at $4.20. Now that $4.20 cost me 60 cents a mile on 150,000 miles was $90,000.
No, Brett, I got a question because I just caught something you said.
Yeah.
You said they were deducting the fuel surcharge from the rate and then giving you back the fuel surcharge.
Right. So no, like say the load paid 4,000, and say the fuel surcharge was 2,000, they would subtract 2,000 of the fuel surcharge. Now the load paid $2,000. Now they give me 70% of 2,000, which is 1,400, and then they would give me the $2,000 back on the fuel surcharge. Which
Okay.
would
Here's what they were doing. They were giving you. They were taking fuel surcharge out in order to give you 100% of the fuel surcharge. So say if a load paid 2,000,
yeah,
and that was an all-in rate from the broker or whoever they were picking the load up from.
No, this was contract freight. On the fuels, on the backhaul stuff, the broker freight, I don't expect no fuel surcharge there, because there's no fuel unless you want to do it that way. That's fine. But when we're on contract freight and the contract is $4 a mile plus fuel surcharge, I want 7% of the $4 and then my fuel surcharge. They're two different entities. That's the whole problem. I understand what you're saying. That's what
I would have to see one. I would have to see one of your settlements.
What they were trying to do was make my contract freight the same as the backhaul freight. You see what I'm saying? The same formula. And I understand it, and it actually paid me more, and that's how I found it, because I asked one of the brokers, what is this load paying? And she told me, what the hell is this? She told me what it paid when I actually got paid more than what I wanted to get paid. And then she goes, and I said, and then I told him, I said, hey, I got more than what I was supposed to get. And then that's when I found out the way they were doing it. And then that's when he told me, well, what we do is this, this, and this. Well, that's fine on the backhaul freight, but I wasn't expecting that. But it paid me more. That's why they say they overpaid me. But if you can't do that with your contract freight, because that's a totally different animal. They have a fuel surcharge.
Not all of it.
Well, not all of it, but that's what I'm saying. You can't do both of them the same way. And I wasn't expecting that extra, from that. Because I already got paid round trip on the contract freight fuel surcharge both ways anyway. So I'll just take my 70% of whatever we got coming back. I don't need it all. I'm just but when my rate is 70% plus fuel surcharge on the contract freight, then yeah, that's what I want. I don't want no more than what I'm supposed to get. And
Well,
that
you
second,
do, but
huh?
you do, but
No. If the second year I made them $700,000 by itself, right? So out of that 700,000, if I got 70% of that, that's 490. Okay, and after my expenses,
what were you hauling that you were making $700,000 a year gross?
air conditioners, and trash. The plastic bottle stuff coming back from Waste Management. Like or bales of
that
cardboard.
Stuff is cheap as dirt.
I know, but I'm getting $2 a mile from down there at Miami, Florida, all the way back to North Alabama with it. That was to me $2 a mile, and we were getting 6 going down, And so, and what happened was 1 week, I run 3,000 miles. I averaged $3.34 a mile, and this was after that big increase. And I grossed $10,000, and I brought home $7,500. And 2 weeks later is when they lost my contract because that was too much for me. But even though out of that 3,500 or 7,500, 3,750 was for me, and 3,750 was for my business back then. And then out of that, I paid that was for maintenance and taxes over there. So I got 3,750, but I'd worked 70 hours that week, so I was making about $50 an hour when it was all said and done, and that was too much.
Well, I don't believe that, because as a company, that makes percentage off of you working, and if you're running hard, why would they're making more money? So why would they get rid of somebody that's making them money?
Because if they pay me and this has always been in trucking, if you pay them too much, they're not going to work as hard. If you know.
Let me ask you this: was you leasing that truck from them then? Or
yeah. That was a different company. I was leased onto them then.
That's the problem. That's something. That's why lease
I know,
purchase is
but look,
frowned on.
I understand. But look, I was just trying to get my feet in the door. You know, I know it's a bad deal, but I was still good with it, and they even charged me $60,000 more for the truck than what they paid for it. I have to pay my dues to get in, but I figured it out that I could run hard, and like I said, I would have made $280,000 to me the second year. I'm paying myself $50,000, and it got to the point where me and my wife are separated now because I thought she was stealing my money, because there's no way that, I mean, I couldn't figure out where my money was. I couldn't stack it up. But when they explained the way they were doing it, now it made sense. And that, like I said, that little fuel surcharge thing right there cost me $90,000 alone, not counting the other shenanigans with the other rates that they were sliding through their logistics side of their company.
Well, I don't know who those companies are, but the way a lot of the lease purchase companies work that do that stuff, especially the bigger companies.
Well, this was
they
small
want you
40
to make
trucks.
they try to feed you just enough to keep you from starving, but not enough to get away from them.
Right, and
that's
once
what
I
I'm
hit that,
looking at is
once I got to that, once I started bringing home,
you're making 10 grand a week or whatever. Then they're like, oh my God, you know, he's going to have enough money. He'd buy this truck, walk away, or he'd go get his own.
But here's the thing. I was friends with these people. I went there to build a 5-truck, 6-truck company with them. I was going to put on more trucks that I was going to go out and buy myself and lease them on and put drivers in. I was going to do that. I'm not going nowhere. You gave me this opportunity. I'm not going to bite you. I'm your friend. I'm not your enemy. But that's what happened. I mean, I could have stayed there.
So why have you continued to lease purchase trucks instead of just going and buying a truck?
Because of the way the rates are, everybody out here fighting to drive each other into the ground.
So why would you lease? Because when you buy the truck, you can make more money.
Until somebody decides they can do it for cheaper.
That's not a valid. Hold on, Brett. That's not a valid answer to me. Because the trucking industry, the market is up and down all the time, consistently. Has been the entire time I've been in it since 1994. Okay, it's been up and down.
Right.
I don't buy or lease a truck because the market might get rough next year.
No, it's not. It's not
or
the
might
market.
Be good next year.
The market is not the problem. It's each other. It's all of us doing it to each other.
But here's my question still is: why have you not went and bought a truck that the title is in your name?
Okay. All right, I'll be 60 in June. If I was going to do that,
so why haven't you done it in the past 40 years?
I did that before. I did. Okay, dude, let me tell you. When I built my fleet at Swift, from 95, I went there. I drove for them for a year in 96. I bought my first truck in 97. And I didn't buy it through Swift. I went out in town in Birmingham. Or no, actually, I went to a place over in Atlanta and bought a truck that was 6 years old, had 700,000 miles on it. And I went and made money at Swift. And 6 months after I bought that one, I bought another truck, put another driver in it. Okay. And then,
So why did you go from that to lease purchasing?
Okay, so that was in 97, 98, right? In 99, the fuel, when I bought my 3 brand new trucks, okay?
I've heard this story 8 times before.
Okay.
Why
So when the
did you
fuel went
go
up,
from buying
because
and owning the truck to lease purchasing? Fuel does not make you do that.
Well, let me explain
The
to you.
price of fuel or the price of tea in China does not decide whether I buy a truck with my name on the title or if I lease purchase from a company that I'm trapped to.
Okay, let me explain to you what happened. I'm burning 300 to 400 gallons a week, all right? Let's just say 4. That costs me $320 a week.
I don't care about the fuel. I don't care about the fuel.
But when the
Stop
fuel
about the
went,
fuel. Nobody
the
gives
fuel
a
went
shit.
to
Hold on, Brett.
$2 overnight.
I don't care if it went to $39 a fucking quart. Why did you not continue to own the truck with your name on the title that you can carry to any company and do whatever you want to with it? Why are you lease purchasing a truck from a company that dictates your revenue, dictates your miles, dictates your cost, that dictates everything? They dictate whether you can leave and go to another carrier with the truck or not. Why would you continue to do that instead of just going and buying a truck with your name on the title? I don't care what fuel was, what rates are. None of that matters when you go to buy a truck or lease purchase. Why are you lease purchasing with a company that you are stuck with that tractor instead of buying a truck that you can take and go to any carrier you want to or start your own authority or whatever? Why do you continue to do that? Answer that question. Do not bring up fuel again. It don't matter.
I can't go out there and fight with people that don't know what it costs to run a truck. So I can walk away from this. As long as I make my numbers, I'm good.
Why do you got to fight with anybody on what they make? Why not just worry about what you and your truck make?
Because when I go to a customer,
get freight to pay that.
Well, when I say I need what this number is, my number's always been whatever the price of fuel is. So if I go to that and to the customer, I say I need 4, 5, $5.50 for the rate per mile loaded.
Wait a minute. Did you just say your cost to your truck is whatever the fuel rate is?
That's what it's always been, sir.
That's not how you figure out your rate per mile on your truck.
When fuel was 80 cents a gallon, I could run for 80 cents a mile, loaded and empty, and made money.
Oh, it doesn't matter. You could make more than 80 cents a mile when fuel was 80 cents a gallon.
Well, yeah,
I have a question for the host.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I have a question for you. If you were going to start over right now from square one, would you dispatch yourself or pay someone who knows what they're doing to dispatch you at the beginning?
Well, me personally, I'm a company guy, but I'm going to tell you right now, I would never pay. If I owned my own truck, had my own everything, I would never pay somebody to do a job that I could do.
Thank you. Yep. Also,
so what is your rate per mile that your company is paying you right now, Brett, today? What are they paying you per mile?
$2, loaded and empty.
Okay. If you owned your own truck, you could be working at least to a carrier somewhere that is paying percentage. And of these high rates right now, your company is making a ton of money off of you because the average rates per mile right now are way up in this market just in the last couple of months. And it looks like they're going to continue to go up. When if you owned your truck,
right?
No, they're higher than that right now.
What are they?
Your company is making, dude. I know you can find a load anywhere right now, $3.50, $4 a mile in a dry van, all over the place. The rates are up.
Okay, that's what I'm making, like $4 a mile, right?
If you just said $2 a mile.
Well, I'm loaded and empty, so if I go 1,000 miles there and 1,000 miles back, it's pretty much $4 a mile, right? Because they pay me $2 for every mile, loaded and empty. So that would be
you could be out on the open market right now, at least to a carrier making percentage, and got $4 a mile down, picked up another load, took it back to where you needed to go to for another $4 or $3.50.
Okay.
You would be making more money on percentage.
Right.
A lot more. A lot more.
Yeah,
but you are stuck. Here you are. You're stuck in a lease purchase. You're in
not
a lease
stuck.
purchase that they're paying you by the mile. Well, you either turn the truck in or you stay there and keep driving it.
Yeah,
All
that make
right, so you're either stuck there or you get out
So-
without a truck.
I have
So
another
hang
question.
on,
You guys,
let me circle back really
have any
quick.
factory? Oh, sorry.
Let me circle back really quick. Hey Brett, I just want you to think about this for a quick second. So remember what I told you per mile it averaged out to
Yeah.
for my trucks, right?
Right.
Okay. So that the revenue that I gave you, the 1.17 or the 1.5, whatever it was, that includes stop pay. So if I took all the stop pay off and only did it per mile, do you realize that I would be under $3 a mile and I'm still
Right.
successful?
Right. That's what I'm saying. I can't run for that.
But
For the
you
rate.
can. There's no way you can tell me that you cannot, as an owner operator, because you control 100% of your ins and outs, just like I do. But I have four full-time employees and one part-time employee, and I'm able to pay cash for trucks, cash for trailers, and I have folding money.
Okay.
So explain to me exactly how I, as a fleet owner of 7 trucks, and only 4 of them are working, and I'm working for less than $3 a mile, how I am successful. And you're not. That's what I don't understand.
Well, I mean, do you want to give me your gross or your net number that you pay taxes on? And I will tell you if that's successful in my eyes.
Brett, you
Because
can't
of-
even give me without naming a number. You can't even give me an idea of your definition of good money. You can't do it without giving
I guess
number.
225 was not a good number.
But that's not what the question was. What's your definition of good money without giving a number?
So Brett, you asked me a question. So you want to know what my net income is at the end of the year, right?
Yeah.
After all my expenses, my
It's
payroll.
about 400,000,
Wrong.
392 somewhere in there.
No.
Okay.
After all my repairs, my building expenses, telephone, internet, meals, travel, everything. And remind you, I have, not only do I have 7 trucks, but I have 4 business vehicles as well.
Right.
That don't generate money. And my net income was $287,992.
Okay.
Can I respond to a comment in the box quick? Kendrick, the reason you may have to go lease because nobody will finance me with a 700 credit and over 15% down. There's a reason, because business is risky. And if you cannot afford to put 10, 15% down on a truck and have money still in a nest egg for when something happens to that truck, and if you're not prepared to be in business, right, you do not need to be in business. Leasing a truck is the worst way to enter this industry. The absolute
agree.
worst
I'm
way.
not
And if you
have
are
you
going
heard me?
to lease a truck, hold on, Brett. I'm talking to Kendrick in the comments.
Okay.
And then he made a comment because high risk industry, and I've never financed a truck before. Great. There's a lot of first time truck owners that never financed one before. When I first financed one, I never financed one before until my first one. And business is hard. And if you are broke, and if you think you're going to lease purchase a truck, and the reason you want to get in and buy a truck or lease purchase a truck, if your answer is for freedom, there is no freedom in business. And you are going to be, I promise you, one of the 95% statistics that fail within the first year. There is no freedom in business. And if you are not prepared to be in business, and that's a problem with these lease purchases, these guys, they can drive the truck, they can back it to a dock, but they know absolutely zero, no shit about business.
I will
And when
piggyback
you
off
go
the back.
into business, when you get into business, you have to know business.
Right.
When you're in
Lease
business,
purchasing a truck is not the answer.
whether you lease purchase or maybe you're blessed to be able to buy your first truck cash. That's like a lot to ask, but for this conversation, You're in business, and it doesn't matter if you're in business for 1 year or 40 years. It's 7 days a week. I promise you, the moment you think you have a weekend off, you don't.
Well,
And if you're not prepared for that, then you are misguided on what freedom looks like owning a business.
Right. All right. So, and I agree with that. That's why I went home 14 days in the last 365. I'm giving it all I got. Right. It takes me 4.5 days to break even. I make my money like right now. I just finished up. I'm $300 to the good right now. Right. I'm going to Utah for Monday, and that's going to make me my money for the week. My $2,200 take home. That's it. That's all I can do.
But Brett, see, that's what I'm saying. Like I hear I promise you, I hear every single word you're saying. I really do. But when you take my numbers and match them to your numbers, you should be rolling in a damn Bentley compared to with what you're saying my company makes. So it's not mathing.
What do you mean? I should be rolling in the Bentley.
Because what you're saying your numbers are far better than my numbers.
My net is my tax liability was 128.
Okay, my tax liability is 287,992.
Right. And see, so for me and if I was going to compare apples to apples, to run 4 trucks, and I pay my driver say $90,000, I'm only going to make, with 4 more trucks, I would be almost up to you. Maybe I needed another truck. So if I had 5 trucks, I could make just the same amount of money as you.
I have 7 trucks and 4 of them are running with nine trailers.
Right. I got you. But I'm just saying, okay. But this is where it goes back to. I make this same exact take home number today that I made 30 years ago.
I don't. But I'm saying that your numbers between now and then have never been right, and that's where you're screwing yourself.
Brett, I'm honestly going to say, and a lot of people, I'm going to just say, and Trucking by the Grace of God will agree, I would love to see your settlement. You can redact your name and your address all you want, but I would love to see what you're paying out and what you're actually taking.
Well, hold on.
Kendrick, it won't let you up now because the screen's full, and I wish we could put more people up here. I really do.
I can back out if you need
I'll jump down so he can come up. But, I'm really glad I saw this live because this is exactly what we built this software for. Because most people really don't truly know, it's extremely complex, especially for guys that have their own authority or whatnot, and they have a factoring company. They might have a carrier or a dispatcher taking a percentage. But see, those are all off the top. And then you got to figure what you're going to owe in taxes at the end of the year. And those are either going to come out of what your profit was, and then you wonder what you're actually going to net. And the reason we reverse engineered it the way we do is we start with what you want to net as your goal for you and your company. And we reverse engineer it from there and say, okay, in order for you to end up with, say, $100,000 for yourself and your company to make 10% of the gross of it, you're going to have to make X amount of dollars per mile. And then you know how to do this. And then we go into where you actually rate a lane. It's set up similar to how Google Maps is. You can put in a zip code, a city, state, or a street address. It maps it all out. It calculates everything. It asks you how you want to handle your deadhead. Are you going to try to break even? You're going to eat it, whatever you're going to do. And it completely calculates the entire picture and shows you instantly right here. This is what you need. This is what you're going to lose on deadhead after the taxes are considered. Everything. It's all right there. And that's what we're trying to do is help everybody learn to understand exactly what they need on every load, because it also considers time. And that's what a lot of guys don't understand either is the time factor.
Right.
So it even handles all of that. So
right.
That's
321
that's
days. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And like what I was saying, I made 128 back then. I brought home 80, right? So I was bringing home 66% of my gross back then. Now my gross is this number. I'm bringing home a third of what
Tax-
it was.
But Brett, there's been a lot of factors in the last 30 years that have changed, taxes and all those things.
Right. No, the fuel was the biggest thing.
But the fuel isn't the
All right,
biggest
I'm gonna-
thing.
Huh?
The fuel is not the biggest thing. Like for me, it's not the biggest thing because 30 years ago, my fuel surcharge closes the gap on the fuel being the biggest thing. I am worried about fuel prices, but what I'm saying is I'm comfortable because I have a fuel surcharge that closes the gap on that. So if it goes to $7 a gallon, I'm not happy about paying it, but I
okay.
have a fuel surcharge that closes the gap on that for me.
Right. Okay. So let me ask you this. Could you run for your rates if you had to go out today and buy brand new trucks and trailers and run them? Could you run for the rate you're doing it for now?
Brett, I'm going to make it very clear to you that I'm going to use terminology that sounds a little ungrateful, possibly to some people. I have folding money, and it sits in a business savings account for two reasons. When my customer says jump, I need two cash for them.
Right. I got you.
Somebody comes to me and says, I need you to have 6 belly dumps tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy 6 belly dumps cash, no bank. I don't have time for a bank. I'm going to secure that.
Right.
Okay. I close my doors. I close my doors and I have to look at my people and say, listen, shit's bad. It's bad. So here's $20,000 until you find a new job.
Okay. So you couldn't go out and buy the trucks and run for the rate you're running for today.
I have been doing it for almost 30 years,
right.
28
Okay.
years in business. I pay cash for
He-
my
I got you.
trucks.
He's asking
Okay.
if you had to reset everything. You don't have the trucks you got, the trailers you got. You had to restart today. Could you do it with the contracts you have?
Of course I can, because the rate wouldn't be any different.
That's what he was
just
asking.
like I said, the money that's going into the business savings, and this is a whole
No,
lot of you guys don't need to know.
no,
But here's
you got
what I'm
no
telling you,
savings.
Brett. I am putting away monthly the enough to cover
Right.
2 truck payments for trucks at $250,000 with a percentage rate of 8%.
Right.
And I'm sure Lane Metrics could tell you by those calculations how much money I have sitting in a bank account in case the oh shit happens. It's either oh shit it's good or oh
Right,
shit
but-
it's
okay.
bad.
So say you don't have your savings and you want to come into the trucking industry and you want to go get a customer, could you? And you have you got to go buy trucks and start resetting from scratch. Not because you've been around the monopoly board for the last 27 years and you've accumulated your wealth. I'm saying if you today had to come into the trucking industry, could you do it for your rates that you're charging?
But I think you're misunderstanding. Let me make it a little more clear on how my business runs. I have an operating account that pays all the bills, pays the drivers, pays the fuel, pays everything. And I have a business savings that I specifically put probably $8,000 to $10,000 a month in every month based on one load that I do out to Kansas and back. So yes, I could do it because I don't need my savings to operate my business. My point is I have 2 different accounts. I have an operating account for my regular contract work. I have one customer that I run deadhead from Denver to Wichita and back that I put that money in the business savings every single week and I play like it's a truck payment. So if I didn't have my business savings, I still have my operating money that I could start over because I have my operating money. It
When
means
you're
I
just starting out, you don't have anything yet. You got
Yes, I-
10,000 in the bank. You want to go
Nobody
to
has
the
anything, but Brett, I started out with nothing. So how I started out with a brand new Peterbilt was a lease, and it was a lease with a $1 buyout. So by the time I was done paying my lease after whatever, 4 or 5 years, I gave him $1 and the truck was mine. They don't have those. I don't know that they have those opportunities anymore. And I can't answer that question because I don't know if they do or don't.
Matt's in that same situation where once he's done paying it, he walks in with a $1 bill and they give him his title.
Correct. So let me see, I can probably go back and find what my truck payment was when we bought that truck. Or lease, because it was technically a lease.
Okay.
But it wasn't a lease purchase, so I wasn't leased to anybody. My truck payment back in, my truck payment in 2001 was $2,050 a month.
Right.
That was back in 2001. You were two grand.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, mine was in '99. I paid
So you paid roughly
$2,027.
$110,000 for that tractor.
Yep, that's what I paid for my Kenworth. Yep, that's what I paid for all my Kenworths. $110,000.
I have a
Well,
question.
that was back
What-
in 2001, and now you're looking anywhere between 250 to about 320, 350 on a newer truck.
Right. So, and on this lease that I've got, I'm going to pay about 90 grand for while I have it for the lease, and at the end of that, I can give them $50,000, and I'll pay 140 total for the truck.
But you're not going to do that. You're just going to let them lease you another truck, brand new.
Yes, because
what's the thoughts behind that?
He's staying
All
on
he's doing
warranty.
is paying for depreciation. Is all he's paying.
I get depreciation right off. I get warranty for everything under the hood, all the way to transmission, everything.
Pay $50,000 for the truck, then sell it. You can make more than $50,000 off that truck.
Yeah, exactly.
See, and Brett, that's another thing.
That is the
But I
dumbest
don't get the
decision.
other truck.
In my mind.
I don't get the other truck.
Oh, you don't get the other truck unless you
No.
turn it in?
Yes.
Oh.
But and I get $11,000 back for completing this lease.
Hook, line, and sinker. That's my point.
Yeah, they'll
And
charge
see,
you all
Brett-
that for that
Brett,
truck.
I
They'll
don't-
make all that
trapping you
money
just
off
for
the
the truck
truck,
payment.
and then
Brett, I don't
turn
have any
around,
more
take it from you, and then
depreciation.
sell it.
No, right. But
Well,
you pay,
Not depreciation anymore.
so you
At
pay
$950 a
48.
week, I think I'd buy out the truck and run it.
But he doesn't have the money to do that.
Right.
Well, I'm just saying that's what I'd be trying to do over the time.
I mean,
That's what I'm
I can
telling
think about
people.
that. I
People
appreciate
need
that.
people need to set a limit on what they have to survive.
Right. So you
So,
pay. Let me
you
ask
know
let
what
me
my
ask you-
limit?
Yeah,
you know
don't
what
live
my
beyond
limit
your
is, Brett?
means.
My limit on my household. That I work in the company and so does my husband. We take $2,500 a week. Not each, $2,500 a week.
I got you.
That's our weekly paycheck for two people.
Yeah.
Okay. So
All about not
so
living
getting
beyond
getting
your means. And
Yeah. So getting back to your lease that you did on the Peterbilt, you paid $2,000 a month for that for 5 years.
I did.
I believe it was. I could go back and pull the paperwork, but now you're asking me to do a lot from 2001.
Well, you just
I don't
told us what it
remember.
was. What your lease was.
I don't remember
get-
how
It
long
was
it
22.
was.
She said it was $2,400 a month.
$2,400 a month
No,
for a year.
2050.
Yeah, 2050. Okay,
Oh,
so that's
sorry,
48.
I thought you said 24.
So that's how much? 24,000 a year times 5 years is 120,000.
Mm-hmm.
And trucks back then that they were leasing were about 60.
No, they weren't. Not for this truck. No, sir, you're wrong.
Oh, they
Well,
were.
maybe 80.
No.
No, back then your trucks were in about the 100,
No, the people that
10
were
to
leasing the
150.
trucks. No, they were buying such volume. Like Swift was getting their trucks for 59,000.
Okay, sir, listen, I play in the big boy world with the big hoods, and no shade to any of you people that drive the Volvos and whatnots, but I am a 100% big hood fleet.
I got you. I got you.
And yeah, I could probably make a shit ton more money if I went and bought some $40,000 Volvo, but that's not what I want. I don't want my name on the side of a Volvo. No shade to anybody else. It's just my personal opinion.
No,
that's all I used to buy too, were big hoods, and then I'm like, My wife,
Big
she's one
heads,
of the
are you
drivers.
talking about like W9s and like Peterbilt
Yeah.
79s?
Yeah, that's what she's talking about.
My wife, she's a driver, and she likes them automatics and all that, and I'm completely opposite. But
I love them.
That's crazy. My wife hates automatic trucks.
I love 13 speed. I love it.
Automatics are great when you're in a city.
What do you guys think about factoring companies and using those
No.
when you're first starting out?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
No on the factoring.
Why
So
should you
just,
give your money? Why should you give your money away from somebody where you can go get it yourself?
Sometimes the factoring can wait up to 120 days. I mean, you know, instead of waiting 120 days for your money to come in, most of them are 30, 60, some are 90, some go up to 120.
Yeah,
But-
I would not ever factor, to be honest with you. I just,
Yeah.
I don't see any value in it, because if you can't operate waiting for the money to come in, I feel like you're going to struggle your entire
Well,
business.
you'd have to have $100 grand in the bank.
I don't
Well,
either.
or
start
here's
out.
You don't
here's
have to have
another
that much
option you have. You to avoid the factoring. Here's another option you have.
Okay.
When you get a load with the broker or whoever, you can take the 45 days and wait. Or they have an option where they take a small percentage and you can get like 90% of what you were normally going to get, or 75% of what you're normally going to get, and you'd have it within a week. You can do that with one load to help carry you over, and then wait on the rest of the loads for the rest of the week, or however you want to do it. And eventually you've got enough to hold you out for the whole 45, and you'll be all right.
Right. But I mean, factoring's only going to take what, 3%?
I mean, I was just throwing numbers out. I don't know exactly what everything is. That was just a number for an
Yeah,
example.
still, but at the 3%, it
factoring
always
was,
adds up too. But
Well, I thought
Well, and I think
thought,
this goes back to, if you're going to start in the trucking business, you really need to walk in the door with a wad of cash. You got to have a backup plan, and it cannot be credit cards. That's another misnomer that people say, well, I have a credit card that has $30,000 on it. Well, look at that. I mean, who was
22%.
predicting that
Right,
the fuel would skyrocket the way it is, and that $30,000 will quickly get chewed up.
oh
And
yeah,
then you're paying 22% on it. By the time you pay that off, you're going to be paying like $75,000.
And I don't mean to discredit anybody in this conversation, but I'm going to tell you what, the one reason that I think our company has been successful, physically, the business itself was successful, is because I also had a middle management, well-paying job in the oil field for 12 and a half years of our 28 years in business. So when the times were bad, I made really good money. So we didn't have to depend upon the revenue from the trucks. And we've learned to live very not modestly, but frugally. And so that made a difference. And in the beginning, when we started out, I had a job working for $14.75 an hour, and our truck didn't make shit because we were in the gravel business. So we were eating literally crackers and butter with 2 kids. But if when we still go along, I have a lot of nice things. We're very blessed, no doubt in my mind about that. And I can pretty much go buy what I want. And I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you, for 28 years, we busted our ass, right? But when I say it again, and I'll continue to tell anybody, when the money is good, if you're making $3 a mile and you know that you can operate off of 2, take the extra dollar and set it aside. Just like that's how we've operated. Have a emergency fund. And then you get to the point in your life when you want to go buy a new truck, or your customer comes to you and says, you know what, you've been doing a great job, because this is how it worked out for us. We need you to have another trailer in here, so we always have a drop trailer. You can be like, okay, and go right over to utility or wherever you want to buy your trailer, and you can negotiate that trailer down cheaper because you're paying cash for it. Hook up to the damn thing and drop it within 2 hours of them coming to you and saying something. But if during the high times you go out and buy a Wave Runner and a freaking jet boat and all this crap, and you have all these payments, and ask me how I know, because we did in the beginning. We had to keep up with the Joneses. So we had all these payments. And in 2009, when the oil field took a crap, trucking went right along with it. And I looked at my husband and said, we will never, ever get a loan for a TV or anything that we should be paying cash for. You can't write off a TV. You can write off your house. If you buy a personal vehicle and you use it for business, there is some write-offs to that. Like, you just have to really learn to play the game. And I still have a lot more to learn, but like I said, the one thing I can say is when you have the ups, take that difference in the ups and what you were making in the downs and set it aside. Learn to live off of that.
I'm just going to put this out there for everybody that's either up in here or that's listening in the background. If you're just starting out or wanting to start out, my suggestion is to hop into these trucker lives and take notes.
Right.
Because Trucking by the Grace of God, she's laid out a lot of good advice. Big Bird can probably give a lot of good advice. Rocky can. A lot of different people can give a whole lot of good advice. My thing is take notes.
It's not gospel by any means, and it may not work for you, but it's always good to listen and like put it on your vision board and move your strings around to where it aligns to you.
Yep.
May I
That's
pick your
exactly
brain for
why
a
I
minute?
came in here.
Pick away.
Okay. So I'm 44 years old. I'm gonna give you my short story here. What I'm doing, what I want to do, and I would like a little bit of guidance. I'm 44 years old. I have roughly about $10,000 to $12,000 in the bank, like liquid cash that I could spend. I work for a company right now that I make roughly $90,000 a year. Last year I netted around 67. So I would like to get into business with myself and stop driving for somebody else. And I've been looking into 26-foot box trucks and starting out with one by myself and, eventually moving up a fleet, possibly. But I'm scared to take the next step. I don't know how much money I should save up before I jump into it. If I should get a used truck like a 2016 to start off with, or try to get something newer like a 22 or 23, or I'm just I'm
Can I say
fearful
something?
because I don't want to fail. But I don't think that I can fail because I have the work ethic and the mindset where I'm going to do what it takes to do to get it done.
What are your monthly bills at home?
My monthly bills
Just
at
an
home,
average. Yep.
on
To
average,
operate your home.
to operate my home, it is roughly, all my bills are about $3,600 a month. And then my spending, we have separate accounts. We have a bills account and a spending account, and then we have our savings. My bills account is like
Yeah, just your bills
$3,600.
account that you have to make in order to eat, keep utilities on, feed the kids, and pay the mortgage.
It would be about $5,100 a month.
Okay, you need to have $40,000 set aside in a fund
So 7
in
or 8 months.
savings just to cover your household bills.
Yes.
Because your first 6 months or first year, typically you're going to make very little in business starting up. Okay, you need to have that put away, and then you need to look at the market for the little box truck stuff. It's oversaturated. People with little Sprinter vans and stuff are covering a lot of freight in that market, moving a pallet or two at a time. It's probably the worst market to get into in the trucking industry, transportation industry, the box truck and the Sprinter van stuff, because it's oversaturated. Anybody without even having a CDL can go get it, buy a van and get into that, right? So you're not going to make the revenue in that market that you could with a semi truck and get into some specialized stuff. Yes, there is some specialized stuff in the box truck market, but it's very hard to get into, and getting into it brand new, you're not going to know where to go. So when you buy that first truck, ideally, you would want to start off with a starter truck and pay cash for it and go lease to a carrier and learn the business. But you need to have capital there. You've got to have at least 4 to 6 months of household money in the account to pay all the bills when there's nothing coming in on your side for a while.
So you're saying buy a truck and lease through a company like are you recommending like buying a tractor like power only and leasing a trailer like?
Well, you can buy a truck or even a box truck and lease it to a company and go learn the business.
Okay.
Because if you know nothing about the business and you go buy a truck and you're trying to start out with your own numbers, you're way behind the game.
It'll eat you alive.
It will eat you up, and you will go through. The money you put back to run your house for that 6 months, you do not touch it to run that truck.
Yeah.
That is only for the house. Because if you start taking away out of that account to keep that truck going or something because of the mistakes you are going to make, you are going to make mistakes, a lot of them.
Yes.
And those mistakes could cost you your house and everything.
And Rocky has a point though, because when you're driving for somebody now, sir, like if that company makes a mistake, you don't know about it because they just absorb it. Now those mistakes are going to ride on your shoulders. And I've made some doozies in my life. Trust me on that. I've made some doozies across the board, but that's another gem that you'll learn moving along is how you overcome the mistakes you make. And I think everybody in this panel, whether you're a company driver, a fleet owner, an owner operator, whatever you are, everybody's made a mistake that they had to try to figure out how to recover from. It's a learned skill. It truly is.
I made mistakes in the late 90s and early 2000s that caused myself. Nobody caused it. Nobody did it to me. I did it to myself. That in 2002, we were less than 15 days from my house being locked up by the foreclosure people. Okay, with my wife with 2 kids at home.
Can you tell us what that mistake was, please?
The mistake was trying to grow too fast, trying to do more than what I was educated that I didn't know about, and I was making mistakes. I was buying trucks. I was hiring drivers. I was doing stuff because I was seeing the gross revenue and what I thought I could make. I thought that with 3 trucks, I could make more than I was with 1 truck, and I was wrong. I made more with 1 than I made with 5. The drivers cost me a lot of money. We were having claims. We were having just business stuff that I was not prepared for, and I was operating on just looking at the cash flow, money in, wasn't so much looking at what was going out and buying stupid stuff. I went and bought a new truck and bought another car and bought stupid stuff at home because the cash flow was there. And then when the cash flow wasn't, and I got behind on trucks, and it felt like I could never get caught up on the trucks. And then a truck sat empty and it wasn't on the road generating revenue when a driver quit. And now I got to cover all of that. There was just a lot of business mistakes that I screwed up. And I had to file bankruptcy in 2002, got rid of everything but the house. And I had to go, we went and bought a $4,000 car, went from having 2 new cars to one 1995 Ford Explorer that we bought used for $4,500 or something that my wife and kids were running around in while I was back out on the road just by myself, just trying to recover and build things back up. It was a very difficult time. Thought we were going to be living under a bridge because of the mistakes that I made in business, because I thought I knew everything and I did not. And business is very hard. I came back after 2002. It took me to about 2007, right around 2007 to get back up on my feet. And then we got hit with 2008, 2009. Right? Which was a horrible time for the trucking industry, but I made it through that time only because I learned from the first time that when I came back out and started making money, I didn't go finance a bunch of shit. I didn't have a bunch of toys. We didn't do all these extravagant vacations. We watched where every dollar went. And part of what I learned back then was also running into Kevin Rutherford and started putting some of his practices into my business. And also about 2005, Dave Ramsey. And if it hadn't have been for that time of following those practices and my wife being on my ass about everything, 2009, I would have been done again.
I'm very intentional with my money, and I know where 100%. I know where 100% of all the income that comes into the house, where it goes and what's being done with it and where it's being spent on what. I mean, I'm like every other family in America. I eat out more than I should. That's everybody's problem, is food spending and restaurants and stuff like that. That's
not this kid.
But as far as buying new clothes, like new flashy clothes or trucks or jet skis or wave runners and everything like that. I mean, that is not me. I grew up in a small town of like 400 people, and the richest guy in the town was worth millions of dollars, and you would have thought he was homeless if you saw him walking down the road.
So that's what I got to tell you, though. You can't get in the trap, because that's what happens. You start
There is
out.
no, I mean,
It's a trap. I'm telling you,
will
that's
not
how,
get trapped.
from my experience, like you start making these settlements and you're like, just because the bank tells you yes on a loan doesn't mean you can afford it. And so that's what happens. People get in, and I'm not saying you're going to do it. I'm just saying that people jump in the industry because they think they're going to make millions of dollars in the first year. And I truly believe that you don't do well. And I say, well, like you're paying for the truck and you're paying for your household, and now you have a little extra scratch for both of those, right? You have money left over in your business to take care of your truck and buy a new bumper or some lights or this and that and the other. And your household, hey, you can afford to go out to a nice restaurant and get a dinner without batting an eye on how you're going to pay for the next gallon of milk. I think that takes, if I had to say, I would say 7 years, 5 to 7 years before you get to that point. It does take a while. But if you're not disciplined, or you let your discipline
what if
slip.
you're already there?
What's that?
What if you're like, I'm already at that point. I can go out and have a nice dinner like once, twice, 3 times a week and pay like $90 between me, my wife, and my daughter, and not have to worry about it. I go fill up my truck, $123 or $125 or $130 or whatever it is. I don't have to worry about. I don't look at my bank account because I know where my money's going, and I know.
But you're not an owner operator right now, right?
I'm gonna kick back a little bit, and not to be mean, but I'm gonna say you are not there.
Me too.
You say you have $10,000 saved.
He's there without being an owner operator.
No, he's not. No, he's not. He doesn't even have 6 months of his living expenses in the bank
he's
right
good
now.
where he's at the company.
Brett, calm down. Brett, hold on.
Yeah,
Let Rocky explain.
Maybe at the company, but he personally is not there. He should not be doing that.
Liquid.
He should not. I know. Okay, so if you were to lose your job today and not have another job for 6 months, how many months before you start losing your house? 2 months. You got $10,000. Your bills are about $5,000. Okay, you should have 4 to 6 months minimum in the savings account before you start just going out and spending like that. And I know we all do it. We all go spend $100 on dinner or more or whatever. Okay, but you said you are there, and in real life you are not there. You don't have $35,000 put back just in case you or the wife lost your job tomorrow, and it took you 6 months to find another job. So I would say that you are not there.
If I needed $35,000, I could go get it tomorrow.
We all could.
You have to borrow
that's not
it.
the point.
I can go get.
I know I would not have to
$500,000 tomorrow.
borrow it. I would have to take a penalty out of a retirement account.
You're
You don't
I
want to
can
do
come
that.
up with it
That-
tomorrow. I don't want to do that. Yeah.
Your retirement savings is not for you
Exactly.
to be living off of at this time. So don't count that money. That money's gone. Pretend it's
I
not there.
didn't count that money. That's why I said I had like $10,000 to $12,000 that's liquid that I can spend. I'm not counting any money that's in retirement.
Right.
At
Pretend that money's not there. You do not want to get into that.
Yeah, leave that alone.
Not
You
for at
wanna
least
have-
another 15 and a half years.
You want to have at least 4 to 6 months liquid in your savings account that you can literally go down and get out of the bank right now today.
Yeah.
And it's your money without having to go pay penalties and all this crap to borrow out of your retirement.
But that's
Or go
just
to a
for his
bank and borrow.
household. If he was in
Right.
business for himself, that would be a whole nother story.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And to that gentleman right there, the new guy, I'm just gonna tell you, this is how different the industry is now. And when I did it my first time, when I went out in town and bought my truck and put the money down and all that, a name. It's about a second truck. And 2.5 years later, I bought 3 brand new trucks at $330,000. That's the way the industry's changed. But when the fuel price went up, it wiped out everything, all my profits. And because the same company that wouldn't lease me a truck in '97 said it wasn't a good business deal unless I gave them $10,000 down, and I only had $6,000. They started leasing these drivers' trucks that had been there for 2 months and no money down, because that became the new business model for this industry. So, and like I tell these people, my net take home is the same number for the same amount of miles. It adjusted for inflation is not even there. I'm talking about the same number. Adjusted for inflation, I should be at my $213,000 number. You know, and I'll break it down like this. 2,000 miles in '97, I would break with the fuel price and everything, I would bring home $1,300 a week on 2,000 miles. I was home every weekend. Today, at 2,000 miles this week, right now, I'm at $345 to the positive. I've not only lost, you know, now I got to go work another 2 days to get my money. That's where this industry is at, because the rates are where they're at. And I've been trying to say, and why I try to say, the reason I come up with $5 a mile stuff is, or the price of diesel. If I have a customer that say I'm in South Carolina and I'm going to Texas, and that's 1,000 miles, right? I pick up on Monday and I deliver on Wednesday to their receiver in Texas. Now, I've got a deadhead all the way. Okay, so that's $5,000. Now, with the cost of fuel, I'm looking at 2,000 miles at 8 miles to the gallon. We're looking at about $1,000 in fuel and all that, the insurance at $1,600 a week. That's $2,600. Now we're for the total for the fuel and everything. I've only made $2,600 for the week. That's $112,000 a year. If I get something coming back that I can get off before and get back to the house for Monday to pick up and service that customer again, great. I won't go broke charging them the $5, but if you run for $3, you cannot go and deadhead back. And that's why freight always costs round trip. But that's where I come over with my numbers.
That's not really his question. His question is, should I get into business in 2026 and buy a truck? But I do want to ask you this, and then we'll let somebody else talk about it. What do you know about business? Have you operated a business in the past or anything? What do you know about business? Have you been educating yourself on business? Because people don't fail because they can't drive the truck. They fail because they don't know anything about business.
The other thing that I think we're forgetting to add into this very important part of getting into the business, because all I've heard is it talking about the truck we're going to buy.
Yeah.
But getting insurance that protects you is expensive. You can go get a Progressive policy and find out what happens when something happens, because you're going to get hosed, in my opinion. You need to be, and you have to choose a good insurance company, because most customers, probably brokers too, but I can't speak to that 100%, require you to be with an A+ or an A++ insurance company. So if you go out and buy the cheapest to get going, it may limit your business opportunities too, because of the insurance rating that you have or the coverage you have. You may not have enough for what the customer expects. And that's a big crunch.
Hey, y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Hello. Hey, everyone. Hey, I hope all is well. First of all, let me extend my appreciation to the host for this panel. I really appreciate everybody in here sharing all the tips and stuff. So I have this question. What is your advice to someone who's at the position, got 700 plus credit, hefty stash in the bank, over 30 grand in the bank, and I'm coming up to these banks with over 20% down, but they're telling me, oh, it's a risky business, risky market, and you never financed before, so we can't finance your truck.
You are a huge risk, okay? And banks measure loaning out money by risk. If I were to walk up to you today and tell you that, hey, I want to get into this business, will you loan me $100,000? Would you loan me $100,000? Probably not. Would you loan me $100,000? Not knowing me, knowing that I want to get into business, and all business is risky, not just trucking. All business, any business period is risky. Okay? Most businesses fail. All right? So you don't know me. You have hardly no money to invest in your own business. Would you loan, I have no money to invest in my own business. Would you loan me $100,000? Knowing that I'm going into a risky business and I have really nothing to lose by you loaning me that $100,000.
What's the business we're getting into?
See, but I'm coming in with 20%.
Right, 20% as a first-time buyer in a very risky business. Trucking is very risky. It's, it is a risky business, and you don't have any business experience per se, because you have not been in business before, right?
No.
All right, so you're
They tell me because I don't
yeah.
I've never done business before. I never financed a truck, and it's a risky business. But it's like, how am I supposed to get in my first truck if, because I'm not trying to get in a lease and get, get these bad deals.
How much money do you have cash saved in the bank that you could put your hands on right now? 30?
Do you guys want me to invite my finance guy?
So if you have 30,000 now, you probably want to get that built up to about 50. And your first truck does not have to be a brand new 2027 $230,000 truck. You don't even know this business yet. You don't want to fail having that big high dollar truck. Your first probably 2 to 3 years, you want to go find have $50,000 in the bank and go buy you a $20,000 truck and go see if you can make money and learn business. And if you succeed in 2 or 3 years, you can sell that truck and buy another newer truck. And after you've been in the trucking industry and you've got $150,000 saved, your bills are paid at home, you didn't go spend it all crazy, and you decide that you want to go buy a brand new truck, go buy a brand new truck. You've proved yourself that you've made it 6 or 7 years, you've got money put away, you're not broke, and then go buy a new truck. But when you want to get into brand new business that you really don't know anything about, you don't have any experience in business, you don't want to go out and jump into a pile of debt with brand new trucks. And that would be the same if you were going to start a damn lawn mowing business. I would not go out and buy all brand new $12,000, $15,000 lawnmowers and all this stuff and new trucks and trailers, jumping into a business that I know nothing about. You want to start off small and work yourself up and get bigger and grow. You don't need to start out with a brand new truck. And lease purchasing a truck is the worst way to buy a truck. There's no worse way to buy a truck than a lease purchase.
I learned that back in 2010. I was new driver and everything, and I went out there thinking, hearing them lease companies tell you all the great things, and I went in there and failed in 6 months.
Hey, can I interrupt for a minute, guys? Hey, one guy, I'm gonna leave and go invite him, then I'll be back. Okay?
You
All
should have
right.
known this before I got here. It was just instructed today.
See,
All right, sir.
See, I'm with you on what you was it Rocky Line? Just saying, right? But see, if I put together 50K, wouldn't it be better for me to go ahead and get a cash truck? And if that's the case, then like, how do you ever build business credit?
Your volume's a little bit down, but how do you build with it buying a used truck to start with?
What I'm saying is, hello, y'all hear me?
Yeah, your volume's a little down. Your background noise is a little louder on my end than you talking, but yeah, it sounds like your mic may be a little ways away from you.
Y'all hear me now?
Not much better, if any. I can hear you enough.
So, what I'm saying is, if I stack up 50 grand, right? If I put aside 50 grand,
yeah,
at that point, would be better for me to get a cash truck.
Yes, absolutely. And that way also, you have $30,000 left in the bank. So if 3 months after you get out there on the road in that truck, it's going to take money to get that truck roadworthy and get it legal and get it tagged and get it insured. So you might have, say you have 20,000 left out of the 50 after you buy a $20,000 truck and get it ready to go on the road. If something happens and you have no money, say you pull out of the parking lot with that truck 3 weeks in and you lose a transmission and you have no money, you're out of business and you've only been in it for 3 weeks, right? So you need to have money to do repairs, money for bad times. You need to have some money. You don't, ideally you'd like to have maybe 100,000 or something, but I would not go in without having at least 30,000 in order to keep going. But if you go out and get into debt and you buy this truck, say you buy $100,000 truck and something happens to it, or you pull out on the road and you get into an accident and the truck's totaled, or blows an engine or transmission or 4 tires or something, and you have no money, you're out of business, but you still have this big loan that you have to pay back.
Hey, real quick, if I gotta step out for a minute, Rocky, you and Big Bird are moderators.
Okay, I'll keep the phone down.
I wouldn't buy a new truck anyway with the up cost of a new truck. I would buy something pre-emission. That way you can learn to work on it right at home.
I caution you on that too, because some customers require you to have newer trucks. So just be damn careful before doing that.
That is true also, yes.
Now, yeah, if he's looking at going and getting his authority day one and going to be trying to get customers, that's one thing. But if you're going to go lease to a carrier, let me tell you something. In my 32 years of being in the auto carrying, truck chassis moving with little boys, drive in and stuff at Land Store, not one time did I ever have a shipper or a receiver come out of their office and go look at my truck to see if they wanted to put that load on my truck. All they saw was the inside of the trailer. Okay? That's all they saw.
I'm talking about if you're going to go customer direct.
Right. And if he's going to do that with $30,000 and go finance a truck, I'm going to tell you, don't do it. Right? Now, if you're going to go lease to a carrier and learn the industry for a couple of years, and then you decide to go do that, and you've made it a few years, and you've got money put away, and you want to go get your own authority and all and take all that risk, then go do that. But don't jump in not knowing nothing about it, the trucking industry, and go do that. You're almost guaranteed to fail. But if you're going to buy your first truck, lease to a company, find a good company. There's a bunch of them out there. Go lease to a good company and do that for a few years. And then if you decide you want to go out and do your own thing, then go do it. But don't jump out there day one trying to do your own thing when you know nothing about the industry. You need to go learn it and educate yourself first.
And network.
Yes. Lots and lots and lots of networking.
You'll be networking for every nickel and every bolt and nut and washer that goes on a truck. I'm telling you. And if you don't, you're missing the boat.
And making money in trucking, okay, it's not made in dollars. It's made in pennies. All right. You have to pick up those pennies. If you get stuck in the trap where you're tripping over the dimes to pick up dollars, you need those dimes in order to make the dollars.
And another business key I can give you personally, worry about the dollar per mile, not the miles per dollar.
Well, I'll even push back a little bit on that and tell you need to be operating on revenue per day. Have daily, weekly, and monthly revenue goals. And as the market changes, okay, like it has right now, back before Thanksgiving, I would have been somewhere in the $1,400 to $1,500 a day range. If a load wasn't going to pay me in that range for a one-day load, pick up today and drop tomorrow, I would not take it. If it was a 2-day load, it needed to be $3,000 or $2,900 or $3,000 or better. And this market today, I would be looking at around 2,000, 18 to 2 per day. Okay, gross money with
And
about
that-
a $10,000 a week revenue goal.
And but I'll say really quick, Rocky, to interrupt you just a moment though.
Yeah.
That's a good analogy, but remember that analogy doesn't work for every region. If you're in California, you got to have a different daily rate. Yeah, daily rate than you
Right.
do like in the Rocky Mountain region or the Midwest. I mean, that daily amount, like my trucks, I would hope my trucks make, $1,500 a day. And some days they may make 12, but the next day they make 2,000. So then you go to, just like Rocky said, you go to the end of the week and see how you did.
I just invited my finance guy to come in here. So if you guys see the PSA mist or whatever it is, that's him.
Well, Sarah, you, Rocky, and Big Bird are all moderators. So if you guys see them and somebody wants to bounce out, you can add them up.
I didn't see him.
Well, I could bounce out too. if I
He
need
does
to.
all my finance. He does all my finance stuff for my truck. So
Yeah, depending what region you're in, what you're doing, what your goal is, what do you want to haul, all that stuff. You need to know all of that stuff before you go buy a truck. And also, when you go to buy a truck, you need to buy a truck spec for what you're going to be doing. If you're going to be buying an over-the-road truck, you want some good running gear. You want fuel mileage. You want a truck that's going to get good fuel economy. You don't need to go buy a truck if you're running dry-van freight on the East Coast with an 18-speed and 695 horsepower and all this crazy stuff. All that's going to do is eat your lunch. You need to buy a truck spec for what you're going to be doing, and that's the truck you need to look for. But first of all, you need to know what you're going to be doing. What is your market? What are you going to be trying to do?
I guess he didn't like what we were saying on left.
People tend to do that.
Yeah. They don't like hearing a realistic, and then they disappear.
Well, I mean, this day and age, everybody wants to be sugar-coated and coddled. They don't want to have the truth thrown at them.
Well, yeah, and business is hard, guys. Business is hard.
Yeah, very much so.
And making mistakes like buying the wrong truck for what you're going to do can cost you thousands of dollars a year. Thousands. Buying a truck that gets a mile to gallon less than the truck that you should have bought can cost you $15,000 a year. And that $15,000 a year could make the difference of you surviving or not.
And the difference too is everybody wants to be too cool for school. Well, those days are gone for you to be successful.
And I would advise that anybody that's listening in here, if you are wanting to get into the trucking business and you know nothing about business and you're driving a truck now and you're working 11 hours a day driving, you should not be on this TikTok app. You should have an Audible account and you need to go listen to books for 11 hours a day on business. Was that too much?
If you've got a wife and kids you're raising, that's another thought too, because if you're out on the road trucking for 2 weeks straight, think about the stress it's putting on her and your children at home. I mean, don't get me wrong, there is nothing better with bettering yourself, but you're going to be putting a lot of payload on her, and not every woman is in the world, in a relationship is cut out for that.
Right. Because business is hard. And like I've said a million times, you don't fail because you can't drive the truck. You fail because you don't know business. And running a business.
And knowing business means that you have to be ready to diversify to the worst case scenario. We were 100% local when we first started. Then the industry we're in, we were hauling sand and gravel and aggregates, and it got chewed up quick because everybody turned around and cutthroat people, and it was $45 an hour for a tractor trailer and a man, and I can't compete with that. So we diversified. We were lucky to have a customer approach my husband, and if you've ever met him, God rest him, he's such an amazing man. They came to him and said, "Hey, we like what you do working for this broker. Would you take over this contract?" And so we went into the dry van world. And then we had the dry van world. And then I worked with a colleague I've not always worked in the business. I had jobs outside the business, but he ended up getting a job with a big building materials place as their transportation manager. And he was struggling getting loads covered because the broker trucks didn't show up or they broke down or whatever. So we ended up diversifying into flatbeds. So you just have to be ready. And I mean, I might have to go get a reefer. I don't know, but I'm ready if I have to go do that to keep the people that I've promised a job. But they all know we're no longer local because they don't make money working local anyway. Most of the local guys in this area work off a percentage. Well, when you have traffic like Denver, you get nothing done. So you get 2 loads done a day and you're paid 25% of the revenue of the truck, and the truck only made $600. You do the math. That's hard to live off of.
Yep.
You gotta go with the daily rate.
That's not how the gravel industry works in this region, though.
Yeah, I know.
So we are no longer local, we are regional.
Right. And you have to be willing.
You have
to be willing to move your truck, even, in dry van freight. You have to be willing to move the truck. If all the good rates are up in the Northeast, be willing to go. If everything moves to the Midwest and that's where you need to go make money, be willing to go to the Midwest and go make money. Pick up some really good regional stuff like Laura has, where you can stay regional and have some contracts of your own. But if you're leased to a carrier, and I would advise everybody wanting to get into the trucking industry for the first time, go lease to a carrier. Let them assume all the risk of you being new, because things are going to happen.
Oh, Cisco.
Okay, be careful. I love you too.
You throwing him out of the house, making Sam go work?
Sam is in work. He's coming back from South Dakota, so he'll be home hopefully shortly, and we'll have a weekend. And then He goes for his pre-op on Monday, and then he leaves out again. And hey, so that's another thing. Funny story, you guys, and some of you have met my husband, but you have to be ready to do everything. So we've had drivers in the past, and I all wish them the greatest success, whether they stay here or not. That's super important. I used to get butthurt when people quit, and now I'm just like, no, if we're not making you happy, then I get it, and that's just the way it is. But my husband is driven with a piss purse. My husband has driven with a Gravity IV PICC line. My husband's driven with, well, right now he's driving with a bad knee that's going to get replaced. I mean, when you go into business for yourself, you don't get to just sit around and not work through those tough times. And the tough times don't even have to do with the truck payment or any of that. It just has to do, what are you willing to do to be successful?
Yeah.
And so, you know, and that's what I said, I'm starting to drive, and I don't want to drive, but I've been trying. It's been on my list. Before I turned 60 years old, I was going to get my CDL. I should have done it a long time ago when I had my permit, and I couldn't get it done because I worked full time and ran the business. But now the point is like, I have to be I want to always be the best support system I can for my drivers. And it can't always be my husband who's, as the proverbial thing says, and most of you are going to laugh, and I'm sorry, this may sound very unprofessional, but it is the true fact. If you're not willing to drag your balls through 9 miles of glass to take care of your family and yourself and your business, then don't get into it.
Right.
Because when, it just takes every ounce of your being sometimes to get up and go, damn, I'm going to go do this again. And if there's one man on this planet that I know wholeheartedly, it's my husband. Like, he will turn out of the yard every day during the week to cover the loads that we've worked so hard to get, just so a driver can have his day off. We're always the ones that sacrifice our days off for our people. And I'm trying to shift the boat on that. After 28 years in business, like, we have to be able to have some downtime. It's just, I just think there's a lot of facets to owning a business that, don't get me wrong, we're super blessed, and it's taken super great care of our family and many other families for people who have driven here. But some can handle it and some can't. And there's, I told the story before. We had a young kid drive for us. He drove one of our classic Pete's. Amazing driver, like top-notch driver, took immaculate care of our truck, but he couldn't keep his mouth shut. And it ended up being the demise of his job here. So he gave up $2,200 a week with paid benefits, 401k, all the things, to turn around, and he went and got his own truck, supposedly. And now, he's running around saying he's making millions. And I think it's great. I hope he is. But the reality is he's not. He should have stayed where he was at. Just owning a business, I mean, it really does has its perk, but I'm going to tell you that Rocky will probably concur, and so will Big Bird and Sarah and even Cisco. It takes a long time to get that far.
Yeah, you don't come out of the gate in business just making piles of money. There is a lot of sacrifice. And whatever you think you're going to make by buying a truck and getting into business, cut it 75%. If you think you're going to come out here and make all this money just because you bought a truck, you're going to fail. You eventually make more money.
It's hard words to say, but it is true. It takes a lot, literally blood, sweat, and tears to get through it. And even 28 years later, I sometimes wonder what the hell we're doing, but.
And then you got me running for a company, researching the shit out of what I want to do before I even think about buying a truck.
Wait, I thought you already had one. Where's your 359 at?
Yeah, where's that black 359 at, Sam?
Oh, hell, I couldn't put that to work if I wanted to.
It's probably in Rocky's yard.
You got to think, I'm 6'2". You think I could fit in that thing every day?
Well, they're not fun to drive on a daily basis.
Laptops are not fun anymore.
Nope. No.
Yeah, I wasn't even talking about the flat top part. There ain't much room in that driver's seat area.
No.
That's Peterbilt across the board, though. I hate to tell you that.
The newer trucks have more room, but yeah, the older hoods, yeah, there's nothing there.
Well, how do you think my husband went from Peterbilts to Kenworths? Because he really likes the interior of a Kenworth.
I had less room in my W9 than I did any Peterbilt I drove.
You're kidding me.
No.
No, I agree. I think the W9 has a narrower cab.
Little
than a
narrower
Peterbilt.
cab.
Yeah.
I was talking more of the leg room part, just sitting in the driver's seat.
Oh, I think they're longer.
Well,
Longer hood.
I like the midroof where you can stand up in the midroof. You just have to remember when you go from Peterbilt to a Kenworth that you have a step down so you don't trip and fall.
Yeah.
Oh, I had
You can take a set the seats back.
Well, you guys wouldn't like a car hauler then.
No, I definitely couldn't do a car hauler.
I think I'm too tall for that.
You get the make your seat go away. Sorry. Hold on. I forgot that.
Look at that. Loads out of Denver, $288 a mile. Isn't that interesting?
288 out of Denver? Wow.
I know.
I sent him an invite, that one guy. He hasn't came in yet, though. But if you want, I could talk to him and set something up and have him come in and talk with people. You might end up with a truck by the end of the deal.
No, I'm not anywhere near ready for that because I want to stay in the tanker part of the industry, and yeah, I got the research on it alone is I get one question answered and I got 5 more behind it.
Yeah, no, he's not really a sales guy. He's a just finance guy. He's a bank guy.
That's all depending on what you want to get in that tank.
It's what all I'm looking at because what I wanted to do is like propellant that I'm doing now, but that's a relationship base for loads, and everything I do is all contracted out now anyways.
That's the part that's hard to compete when they already got other contracts.
Right. So I'm starting to look into the chemical part of it because I want to keep the hazmat.
Just jump out like these others do, Sam, and just go buy a truck. Just blindly go buy the truck and then figure it all out. Figure out what market you want to get into and everything.
The only
And that's what
difference
these other
is
guys do.
the only difference is I've got a hell of a network to help me out when I've got questions. But I mean,
yeah.
And I'm willing to close my mouth and open my ears too.
Yeah, that's one thing I didn't get to ask those guys is why do they want to buy a truck?
Because they think they can make more money.
Yeah, and then they find out, oh shit, I make less money, and I have to worry about all this 24/7. I'm in business now.
Right.
Well, did
You
you
know.
hear? Did you hear Brett? He only wants to work 400 or less miles a day, right? And that's the reason he does
Right.
the lease. He said, for he could do that. And lease programs to run 400. Those are set up to run.
Yeah, I
Yes and no, but you know,
That's
everybody's got their preference on how they want to run and all that. But you know, you got to figure. I run different. I run different than everybody else. You know.
Well, we listened to it yesterday for about 3 hours. We learned everything about cheese. I'm sorry for the cheese conversation, but we learned about that yesterday. We learned about everything, and it's like he just likes to argue.
I had to put that one to a halt because I just got got on his rear end about the whole getting loud and cursing and everything else, and I'm not doing that in here. There's other rooms you can get away with that. I'm not dealing with it in here.
We
I'm
had to talk
sorry,
yesterday
Sam.
too.
I know I got a little bit loud there for a minute. And I
Well,
try not to. I really try not to.
I mean, a little bit here and there is one thing, but when people are trying to talk to you and you're constantly cutting them off and you're constantly getting loud and telling them their opinion don't matter, I've got no choice at that point but to either mute you or boot you.
Well, I wasn't even noticing earlier. Were you hitting the mute button on me?
No, I wasn't. That was Big Bird.
And I apologize for arguing with Roger, but that guy just.
I didn't even realize that's who that was when I let him up. I didn't. If I would have known that, no.
Well, he has like 15 accounts, and he comes into my lives too and starts in the comments. And it's like, I don't know.
Some people are out here to actually learn. Some are out here to do nothing but cause issues.
Right.
And yeah, there's Brett.
And those of you
Hey,
that are
what's going
wanting to
on?
get into business, always remember there's a reason why less than 10% of the country or the world owns a business. Business is hard. And if it were easy, it would be the other way. It'd be 10% of people working for somebody and 90% owning businesses.
Well, the main reason I want to get into business for myself is not because of the money. That's just a byproduct of the thing. I have 3 boys that are late teens and early 20s, and then I have a 4-year-old daughter, and I don't want to leave them with a bill like my parents left me. I want to build something for them to help them when I'm gone.
I get that. But if that is your goal, you want to make sure you do everything absolutely right.
Yes, sir.
And learn everything the way it needs to, and run the business like it needs to be run.
I'm a sponge. If I was one of those jump at the gun people, I'd have already done it. I would have. I mean, I had the perfect opportunity when I was 20 years old. I was framing houses. I was the lead carpenter for a guy that I worked for, and we had a crew of 5 people, and he ended up getting cancer and dying. And his wife wanted to give me all the tools and the contract that he had with the builder to build houses, and the builder even approved it. I was too scared to run my own company when I was young, and that fear's just stuck with me my whole life. I regret not taking that step, but I wasn't ready back then, and I think I'm ready now.
Well, you definitely taking the first step by asking questions to people that are going to teach.
Yeah, I'm a sponge. I'll take in. I'll take all the advice and I'll listen to everything you have to say.
And I'll say this too, almost everybody that I know that's been in trucking, all of us have failed at least once and some twice.
I had to walk away from a brand new truck.
That's one reason that I've remained small after 28 years. Everybody's like, why aren't you a big carrier? Because you can't just worry about the trucks. You got to worry about the people in the truck. And when you get so big that you don't know their name, you only know them by a truck number, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you I'm not looking at my phone, but were you the one looking at getting a box truck or something there to start with?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that market. It is saturated with non-CDL drivers and everything else. It's very, very easy to get into. So the
I
easier
heard that
something is to get into, the less money you're going to make.
I've been in a couple other lives talking to people that have box truck businesses, and the new, like, I mean, a bunch of people have been getting pushed out and not being able to work with a lot of carriers because it's hard to understand them. They can't speak the language. They're unreliable in some cases. And I think that if I get in there and, I mean, I'm not the most well-spoken person, but I can understand English. I can speak English. I can get to the place. I'm dependable, and I'm not afraid to work my ass off.
Get off! No! I would say most of them are not failing because they don't have good communication. Communication may not be perfect as far as stuff. That would be maybe a little bit of it, but most of them fail because they don't realize that they got into business and they are now a service provider. And what most of these people do not do is they don't provide good service to their customer. And I would argue that that is why the majority of them fail.
Yeah, they're not dependable.
Right.
Well,
I said that in part of in my argument with, I mean, not my argument. I'm not trying to argue or anything, but I mean, that's one of the biggest things. They're not dependable, and they can't make it to their places on time. I mean,
well, I mean, can we talk about the autonomous truck coming into the box truck market too? I mean,
My son has a logistics company, and he runs a lot of the Sprinter vans. It's all in the medical grade, medical field, and all that. The biggest problem with a lot of these Sprinter van guys, they don't show up or they don't want to work when the time comes and they need it, especially in the medical field.
I mean, I think in that case it's going to benefit me more than hurt me if people don't show up to do their job, and I'm there showing up every day. I'm going to be trusted, and I think I'm going to be able to build my brand a whole lot easier than at the downfall of these other people.
Well, you're not going to go buy a box truck and walk into the medical hauling part of the industry. That's going to take time.
I understand.
They do not trust you right out of the gate. It takes time to build trust with those brokers and people that do that stuff. They don't know you from Adam. They're not going to just, hey, yeah, I'm going to give you this load of medical devices.
Yeah. Now, I have a question. I can hear Rocky just fine, but Big Bird, is way soft, and I can't turn my phone up anymore. Okay. I didn't get any of the things that you were saying earlier. I just saw your name light up, and I was just being quiet.
Right. I apologize on that. I'm on.
It's all right. I can hear you better now.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I had to move my.
Yeah, I can hear you.
My mic.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in a truck driving right now to Leon, Iowa. I'm based out of Grinnell, Iowa, and I'm pretty much a regional driver. I drive for a company that hauls seed for Bayer, and pretty much just corn and beans all the time.
Oh, that's my home state. Who do you?
I'm in Grinnell, Iowa.
Okay. So you're hauling out the birdseed plant, or what are you doing?
No, Bayer.
Oh, Bayer.
Yeah.
Right out there, right by it.
It used to be Monsanto, but it's Bayer now.
Yeah, out by the QT.
No, it's not by any gas station.
In Grinnell?
Yeah, in Grinnell, it's on Highway 6, about 2.5 miles east of the Grinnell.
Oh, east of Grinnell.
Yeah.
Monsanto's also got another place over there by the birdseed plant in Grinnell.
The birdseed plants or the chicken plant?
Birdseed.
Birdseed.
Yep. You'll see it. There's like some, there's like the QT and all that, and like some place that builds car wash equipment, and you'll see some big elevators is full of birdseed.
We don't have a QT in Grinnell. We have a
Yeah,
come
you
and
do.
go that train. No, we don't. We have 4 Casey's and we have a come and go
I grew
that
up there.
changed to Maverick. I live there every day.
I lived there for 38 years.
In Grinnell, you're talking
Yeah.
about east of Newton.
Yes. I
There
lived
is no
actually.
Quick Trip. There's no
I
QT.
actually,
I promise you.
I actually lived in Colfax, to be honest with you.
Okay, yeah, I'm right by the Colfax Mingo exit right now.
Okay.
I'm headed west.
There's a Quick Trip with a K, a Quick Trip.
Oh, that's not a QT then.
Well, no, I said
There is not a Quick Trip. There is not a Quick Trip at Grinnell. We have a Maverick, which used to be Come and Go, that started with a K, and there is 4 Casey's. That's all we have for gas stations. I promise you.
Anyways.
Okay.
What's up?
You're at an angle and you got my dog plate.
Oh, damn it.
I'll be there in a little bit. Hey, that one guy, so I'm gonna be up here in your area most of the day, but then I'll be leaving.
Are you still heading up to load?
No, I loaded last night,
Oh.
and now I'm down over here in Ottawa unloading, but I'm getting ready to head back up there.
Oh, okay. Because I'm probably are you talking about over there at the BN yard?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably about 40, 45 minutes from there. My son actually just left for work to go there. He runs the cranes over there on the other side.
Are you in Iowa too, that one guy?
No, Illinois.
Oh, Illinois, okay. I'll be out in Illinois Monday. I got to go to Waterman, pick up a load coming back to Des Moines.
So do you make 90,000? You said running that home on the weekends?
Yes. Home on the weekends, home every night. I'd never stay in my truck.
Well, I'd stay right there, my friend.
Yeah.
Because out here, it's like the casino, and you can be the best service ever. You can be outstanding, but if somebody comes there and saves them $40,000 a year, you're no good no more. And until we all work together and start doing it for the same right number to begin with, then it's always going to be like that.
You're always going to have the people that want to undercut everyone else, though.
Right. And they don't know how to run a business, and they'll be out of business, but they're going to put you out of business along the way.
Yeah. I get that.
So what are you trying to do? Get into box truck business? Like what?
Myself? Yes.
Yeah. So I would really do my research on that because the autonomous trucks are going to take that over.
Yeah. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking, sir?
I'm 44.
Okay. I would suggest getting a IUL set up the right way.
IUL?
Yep. Index Universal Life Insurance Policy. And it builds cash value. After 12 years, you can actually borrow the money. And you can actually borrow the money before you die. Like if you got a $2 million policy and you got a cash value of 1.5 in it, you can take that money out.
Why would you do that instead of a high yield savings account?
Well, how much is a high yield?
Why would you do either one of those?
The IUL, I
like
think
a
you
Roth
can actually
IRA?
take a loan against. I think you can take a loan against the IUL.
Well, you can take the money out, but you don't have to pay it back. Because it's only going to pay out the remainder of your $2 million policy when you pass. That's why it's called. What?
But then when you pass,
What happens if you take that money out? You don't have to pay it back, and you stop paying your premium.
Why would you stop paying your premium?
Because you just got $1.5 million pulled out of there, and you're like, well, I don't have to pay on it anymore. I'm not
No,
going to
you
get
don't.
that
No,
back
I mean
ever
you
again,
can pay your premium, but you don't have to pay the loan back. You took the 1.5 million. The money that's in there is your money that you've accumulated. But
it's how much money that you put in yourself. Okay.
right, well, but it grows and it grows. So You know, say if you put $1,000 a month in there at your age, you can get a nice $2 million policy that, you know, when you turn 65, I mean, you can, you know, after 11 years, I think you can pull out like 40% of what the cash value is. And it might be $500,000 at that point. But then, but you can do, I would do that before I would try to give my kids this. Because that's
everybody's different on that.
This don't work though. This is like going to a casino every week. You don't know what you're going to make, or if you're going to bust.
But doing this, he can invest that extra money, and if he does it right, hold on. If he does it right, it's all pre-tax money, which means it's less taxes. That's how good guys actually take to where they don't have to pay taxes.
Yeah, you can structure your business correctly to where you can not pay any taxes at all every year.
Yeah.
Right.
I would like to agree with you about that, but that's not true in my case.
Well, you know, not everybody can go buy a hood just on a whim.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm very blessed.
Some of us win our trucks.
Yeah, and then bitch, you can't fit in it.
That's right. That's right.
If you file a loss every year, how are you going to get a loan at the bank? Like, how does that work?
I never made it that far. I never needed to get a loan.
Well, no. They say you can't compete with people that don't know the numbers. So that's all I'll tell you.
All depends on what you're competing in.
Well, my dispatching's done, all my stuff's done. So I'm leaving this live so I can go and play cattle woman now, I guess. I got some farm chores to do.
So you're gonna go play with the goats and the cows?
I don't have goats. We won't have goats because they jump on vehicles. That's a no. But yes, the cows.
Cows and the donkeys.
Goats are like a free lawnmower, though.
Hey, that one guy, do you think you could fit in here?
No.
I want to know when you're going to get the Highlander
Look
cows.
at-
I want to know when
look
you get
inside.
the designer cows.
Is that the
Oh,
Mazda?
I know what car.
Yeah,
I know what it is. I can't get into it.
It's a Miata.
Oh yeah, them are. Yeah, I could get in and out of them. And you probably never hauled any, but the old Toyota Spiders, the little
I
tiny
remember
thing. It
those.
was like that, but
I remember
smaller.
those.
Them
Yeah, the
things
MR2
were
Spiders.
miserable. They were miserable to load on a high rail car carrier.
I barely fit in here, so I can only imagine.
Yeah, shoehorn and some grease.
So it's my mom used to own the Hyundai Tiburon. I could get in it, but it was comical watching me get out of it.
Oh yeah.
The hands went on the ground first, didn't they?
No, the feet went down there, but it wasn't exactly an easy task.
If I could get my my tricep in the door jamb, I can get out of any car. But I got to be able to reach across to get my right tricep in the door jamb to be able to fucking jar myself out of there. I'm a big boy.
Well, I actually had a system where I threw my right leg around the steering wheel, and that allowed me to slide the rest of my body in. But you couldn't do that on the reverse.
Yeah, I've got to be totally facing out. I can't just like slide out sideways.
And all these short people want to be tall or wish they were tall so they can reach the top shelf. Yeah.
And that one guy, once you got in here, you got to be able to shift gears. Look, it's a manual.
You got to get a leg on the clutch.
See, and that's the problem I would have. Once I got in there, I'd want to have fun with it. Like, I'd be trying to rip it around everywhere, and you guys can't do that.
Them Porsche Carreras I hauled, I made it up to 100 mile an hour in it. Porsche Carrera GT.
I think the smallest thing I ever got into was a Mini Cooper. And let me tell you, it took me 2 miles to get that thing up to 100.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I think these are smaller than a Cooper.
I think they are.
What kind of Toyota is it?
No, it's a Mazda Miata.
Oh, Miata, yeah.
And it's a sport
Hey.
too.
Hey.
The bad part is I would absolutely love to own a Nissan Z, but I know I can't get into them.
Yeah.
You ever got in and out of a Corvette, Sam?
I've gotten in and out of every Corvette there is. And because of my size, I cannot own one, and I would love to.
Right. I'd love to have one too, but absolutely miserable to get in and out of. And
I'm
sitting
only
in that little
5.
seat.
They are.
I'm only 5'9", and look, I can see the whole roof. And
So
I'm waiting for that Corvette SUV truck.
when I get into a Corvette, my knees are eating the back of the steering wheel if I slide down to the seat. If my legs are straight out enough, my head's like this the entire time. And either way, it's just not comfortable.
see, you need that one. You need the one up here. That's like your size vehicle. The CX-90.
What is it?
The CX-90.
Oh,
That thing's huge. It's nice.
I had a '67 Stingray, hard top, soft top, and I got rid of it because it was it was just too cramped for me.
Nobody wants to hear from you.
And you're a little guy, Big Bird.
How tall are you, Big Bird?
6'4".
You guys are all like giants.
I'm 6'4", but those are two different measurements.
That ain't what she said.
Yeah, I think Corvettes are made for people about 5'8" and 100 pounds.
But yet you see 5'9" and 300-pound wide people get in and out of them every day.
Yeah.
This one's a little bit bigger. This is a sedan. How tall are you, Rocky?
6'1.5" or so.
That's with heels.
6'1".
With
Yeah.
heels.
How much are you?
With heels.
Yeah.
If I put my platform shoes on them, I'm 6'6".
Depending on what convenience store I'm walking out of, I'm 6'2".
Depends
I would love-
whether Big Bird's taking me to lunch or not, whether I wear the platform shoes.
And do you put
That's
on your
right.
do you put on your pretty red dress too? Or
Yeah.
pretty red nightgown and tuxedo?
Well, Big Bird likes a pretty pink nightgown, so put some platform shoes
That's
on
right.
and a pink nightgown. And then he'll take you to lunch.
That's right. That's right.
Talk about some TV talk.
Got my nightgown on, my pretty red panties on, and I'm ready to go to bed.
Oh, goodness.
You were hollering on the CB the other night. You ain't got no panties on. So do you have the red ones on or not?
Oh, I don't have no socks on.
No socks on.
I will tell you guys a story. I will tell you guys a story about that, right? So I took my son with me when he was young on the road, and there was always the people on the CB. I ain't got no panties on, I ain't got no, and he looked at me and he's like, "That guy's following us everywhere."
get up around Lake Station, and that somebody's always saying that crap.
Oh yeah. Ah, man.
You remember the guy that used to be on the radio in West Memphis? I got the blue, the red, the green.
He's still there. That's a cop.
Is he
Got
still
the red,
there?
I got blue smoke, green smoke. I got the white smoke. I got any type of smoke you need. I got the rainbow smoke.
When I go down there, I just turn my radio off. I just.
There's a blue smoke, green smoke, rainbow smoke.
It's pretty nice visiting up here in the Midwest, though, for a change.
Yeah, not too cold for you?
I mean, it is. I did bring my coveralls. I had my coveralls on last night.
I need to find some flowers for my flower pots. Besides
Hey, Big
weeds that
Bird.
are growing in them right now.
I got 2 big pots out in front of the house full of stuff, and for the last year and a half or so, I've been putting the artificials in from the TikTok shop. I put the fall ones in last fall, and I need to put the spring ones in now. And they're good for about one season, but I don't have to water them. I don't have to do nothing.
I might have to go and do that. As I went up, everything got frostbit over the winter, or here, a couple months ago, and nobody's got any flowers.
Yeah. The ones I've been getting, you probably see them when you're flipping around through TikTok. But it takes, like my pot, they're pretty good sized pots, and it takes about 3-4 bundles to fill them up and make them look full. So it's about $25-30 a pot to fill them, but I just change them out with the season. But I don't have to water them and deal with all that crap.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 whiskey barrels cut in half that I use for flower pots, and then I got 2 down by the mailbox. And yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 6. Yeah. So I usually put flowers in there, and it looks like my hibiscus. The winter frost killed it.
Choked it out.
Yeah. Last
we
year,
had a
the
pretty
other
hard
hibiscus
winter.
that I had. Yeah, we did. Last year, my other one got nailed, my hibiscus, so I have to dig this one up. Get me another one.
Yeah, we got
crepe myrtle's doing pretty good.
We got a couple of nurseries around us, and we got one of them that comes in every year for a couple of months and sets up out here by one of the churches. And that thing is so busy, that place, every day busy.
The problem is everybody got nailed with the frost and all that. They killed everything off down here. My nephew does a lot of landscaping and all that. He's been having a hard time getting flowers.
Where's that guy go to?
Yeah.
Hey, that one guy, I got a question about tankers for you.
Oh boy.
Well, I was in a live a little bit ago, right? And we got on the topic of autonomous trucks.
There's my dead hibiscus.
And this guy said that autonomous will never happen in tankers. What do you think?
Autonomous can happen in all of them, only for the simple fact of it comes time to load and unload, you just got to have somebody wherever you're going to know how to hook everything up.
And yeah, exactly. And I was telling him, I was like, if you have that attitude, in 20 years, we won't have no jobs.
The autonomous is already in the tanker part out in the oil field.
With all the sensors they have now for stability control on the trucks, when a tanker starts going too far one way, it can slow the truck down to where it brings it right back. But you guys want to talk about plants? Here's my plants. Let me see if I can get it in there. No, it ain't going to get in there, and I don't know how to take the picture off the background.
The autonomous is already into the tanker division already.
I tried telling him.
A lot of these guys don't understand. There's the autonomous is in the heavy haul. It's in the tanker. It's in the dry van, the reefer, and it's in now getting into the
Cars too.
the sprinter part. So, I mean, it's already there. I mean, even if you take a look at it, no matter which way, any of the, well, if you got cruise control, you're already autonomous already, level 1. But it all depends on what stage. It's already there. The crash conversion and all that, it's in there.
I agree 100%. No, I about invited you in there, Big Bird, when he started talking about that. I'm like, that's not true.
Invited me where?
Into that group where that guy was talking about that. He's not on now.
Oh.
Yeah, the autonomous trucks they can do anything. And the only thing they're going to need is somebody at each end to load it or unload it at the end of the day.
You know, they just launched some autonomous car haulers, and JJ couldn't even believe that. He looked it up.
Well, you look at it right now. Most of your four-wheelers out here right now have the lane assist, cruise control, the plantooning, and all that. It's already autonomous. That's part of the autonomous. Now you get into the big trucks, cruise control, automatic, the rollover assist, ABS brakes, crash sensor deals and all that, and they have that pantooning and all that. You know, if somebody cuts you off in front, it already applies the brakes and all that. That's a level 2, level 3 autonomous already. And a lot of these guys don't understand it. It's already there. All they're working on right now is level 4 and level 5. Level 4 still has a steering wheel, still has a gas fuel pedal, brakes. The level 5 does not have any of that. Level 5 is totally, completely autonomous.
You know, these guys that are doubting the autonomous, I say go rent a Tesla with the self-driving for a day and go sit in a seat and just tell it where you want to go.
Hey, that one guy, can I say something that's kind of off topic, but I'm trying to bury a hatch in here because I'm sick of arguing.
I know I'm ugly. You ain't got to bring it up.
No, Roger, I don't know. I have no bad blood with you. Whatever's happened has happened. I wish you all the best luck. I hope you heal well. You don't need to follow me around in everywhere, okay?
Yeah, I seen him down there.
I sent him a message this morning. I was like, hey, I'm supposed to get confirmation. Never heard anything. He said that it looks like she did try to send an email yesterday.
What do you got going on in the background there, Big Bird?
I'm sorry, I'm outside. I'm fixing to take a play catch with my grandson here.
Oh.
So, hey, I'm gonna jump out for a little bit because he wants to play catch and put my undivided attention to him.
All right, Big Bird, have fun.
Yeah,
Just
we'll
pick
catch
mine
you
up
on
at school.
10-4 on that. Yeah, he got to come out a little earlier today. They had awards day today, and he got on AB on a roll. So he gets to hang out with Papa today.
Yeah, gets to go hang out with the cool bunch, huh?
That's right. All right. Hey, we'll catch y'all in a little while.
All right,
All right,
we'll
buddy.
talk to you later.
Have a good one.
All right. I'm Big Bird and I'm out. Whoop, whoop, hammer down.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, see you later.
Sorry about that, guys. I had a phone call. But no, it's Roger. I had no problem with you. I have no bad blood with you. It's whatever's happened has happened. I'm not gonna argue with you. Just don't argue with me. That's it.
Inside or outside? Inside. This. It's your pants. What gets that? Okay, my turn. Eyes.
So are you not working today, Sam?
I got in at about 9 o'clock this morning.
Okay.
So I'm off till probably Sunday.
Okay.
I'm hoping they run me Sunday anyways.
Yeah.
So I sit here, do this, do some research. It's too damn wet for me to take the bike out today, so wait for the little girl to get off school so I can go pick her up, and yeah.
Yeah, I just picked my grandson up at his, and it's his day to go over here to the old daycare for the afternoon for a couple hours and play, and go in the gym and play basketball and get wore out a little bit. So take him over here for a little bit. Let him run.
But it's dying off, so I'm gonna hop off here, and y'all enjoy your weekend. Matt will be on the FOPT later on tonight.
Okay, was he coming on tonight around 7 also?
Yeah, I believe so. I think that's what I heard.
Okay. All righty. All right, I'll be in there. I'll see you then, I guess.
All right, you guys take it easy.
Do some research and
Thanks
get
for
a little
looking at
nap.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Yeah, I'll get